Good morning. Good morning. Oh my gosh, this is day 3, right? I don't even know what day we're in, but I just know we're having a lot of fun. I just know we are learning a lot. I just know that, man, have we been poured in by our speakers? How have we been poured in by just everything and everyone that we've been learning in the last few days? I hope all of you girls are really taking some amazing, amazing content with you, a lot of aha moments, a lot of moments that are going to like really get you moving to making sure that the business is going to work for you in your favor. And knowing that, once again, we're never alone in this, right? Like, that's one of the most beautiful things that I love about our community, and which is what brings you girls back as well, is because of these amazing, amazing events, the amazing community that we have, and just like the overall beauty of just getting to know each other and being relevant with other bookkeepers. I know, for example, when we have the opportunity to go to bigger events or stuff like that, it's sometimes a little bit intimidating, right? And like hard to get into that community when there's a lot of people at the event. So I think this is really fun when we have the opportunity to just have a smaller, more intimate meeting. I don't know. I just feel like we can connect with each other way, way more. So we're just gonna give it a couple minutes to just make sure that everyone comes in before we start, because I know we'll have a couple of people joining us. Today's kind of like schedule, we will have our break around 1 p.m. So then we'll have a 15-20 minute break at around 1 p.m. And then we have also today Carla and Elise coming in today. Today's going to be very workshoppy, okay? So make sure you have your workbook, and then be ready to work on some things, because we're going to be working on some pretty cool stuff today, especially because it's the social media aspect of it. I don't want you to just listen of the social media part. I want you to actually do the work, okay? I don't want you to walk out of here and be like, oh, I just stayed there and listened to me for like 4 days and I didn't do anything. No, we're going to take advantage of our time. We're going to take advantage of the opportunities that we're here together to get you to moving that needle and doing something. Okay, mamas, I want you all to walk out from this week with like, oh, I got that done in my business today, or I got this done in the next step that I needed to take, or something like that. Okay. So we're just gonna wait, like I said, just a little bit more minutes, give about a minute or so, because I do see that there's still a couple more mamas starting to join us. So if you still need to go grab a coffee, grab your water, grab a snack, whatever it is, go grab it. We're going to give it a couple minutes before we officially start with our day 3. Let me tell you, girls, when we do this live, it's only like we do Thursday night, Friday, and Saturday. So like we're going hardcore this week, okay? Because this is like our 3rd full day pretty much. And I love that all of you girls are still showing up, that all of you girls are here, that you continue to come and be here present, which is so, so amazing. And that just says a lot. Like, you girls are committed. I love this. All right. So here, just give one more minute before we officially start. I kind of woke up with like, I was sitting too much yesterday. I sat too much. I didn't even stand up at all. So like, I'm like, my first trainings, I'm going to be doing this standing up because my back starts to feel stiff. All right. We got a couple more ladies joining us. Okay, so we are going to once again start with doing a little bit of a breakout room again. Okay, I know you girls love these breakout rooms. You love getting to meet each other, and hopefully this time you'll have the opportunity to actually be in a group with someone else, someone differently. And I actually want to join the fun this time, and I'm probably going to join one of the groups as well, because I always get like in the outside, and I'm like, you know what? I want to talk to these girls too. I want to know what you girls are talking about. So don't mind me if I just like end up showing up in your breakout room and just kind of listen to you girls, because I want to get to know you all as well. Okay, now on top of what you have in your workbook, right? That is the introductions and stuff like that. There are 3 questions that I want you girls to kind of also discuss. And I'm going to put those here in the chat. So that way you want to maybe copy them or something. The first one is, what inspired you to start your own business? A lot of you girls here have already started a bookkeeping business, already have maybe a tax business, or you're starting with something. Like, you wouldn't be here if bookkeeping wasn't the business that you wanted to be into, right? And what has been your biggest motivating factor to keep going? What keeps you showing up, right? What is it? What is it that keeps you showing up? Okay. The next question is, what strategies have you found most effective for growing your customer base or your audience? Okay, so those of you who have, even if you have one client, okay, base that question more around the like, okay, what am I doing, right? What am I doing to have this exposure? How am I, what have I done to obtain this client? Hey, maybe you've just been lucky and it was your neighbor, or it was your dad, or it was your husband's business, whatever it might be, like, right? What is it? If you don't have a specific strategy, just talk to us a little bit about, right, what has been that effective a way of growing your customer base, or even your audience, those of you who maybe are starting to get like a following on social media. And the last one, I know this one's going to be fun because we all are juggling a lot of different hats, right? So how do you manage your work-life balance, especially when you're first starting your business? And I think this is going to be a very good conversation for those mamas who already have more of like a consistency of an everyday kind of work. And for those mamas who are just starting, right, who maybe are just trying to get their feet wet, like, how do I manage this, right? So those are the 3 questions I want us to discuss. Just briefly introduce yourself, right? Those things that are in the in the workbook, but I really would love for you girls to base off your conversations out of these 3 questions here. Okay, so we will have, because these are a little bit more elaborated questions, I'm going to give us 20 minutes to do so. So it's 11:07. Let's come back like around 11:22, 11:23ish. Okay, so I'm gonna start to make the breakout rooms. ¿Cuántos somos? It's 13 of us. All right, here, let me see. I'm going to do 4 breakout rooms, which would be about 3 of us per room. That way we can have a really good conversation. Okay, so you are going to be put into a room, and here we go. All right, make sure that we are recording. Unas se están quedando en el chisme, right? No se quieren venir.
It's so nice to see.
I was popping in to some of you girls, and I can hear it was very good conversation. So I like it. I like that you girls have those conversations when you're, in the smaller groups. I think it gives you the opportunity, right, to feel like you can actually express yourself a little bit more, because sometimes in a big group it can be a little bit intimidating. But awesome.
Not enough time.
Not enough time. Oh my gosh. Okay, so here, let me see. I think we have time. We're probably, because today, like I said, today is very workshoppy. And I want to make sure that today we have another time. We might have a little bit of time after our break to do another little breakout session. Okay. So, all right, ladies, welcome back. As always, we need to get our day 3 picture and video, because if we don't do this, then it never really happened, huh? Okay, so let's get our picture first. Listas, 1, 2, 3. Monica. Okay, and now we're gonna do the video. We're gonna do Droom and say hi.
Hello.
We are live with day 3. Vámonos. All right, super duper fun. All right, so what we are going to start with today is going to be really focused on the social media aspect of our business, of, how do we put ourselves out there? And we are going to finish up with the training on how the heck am I going to get hired by my client? And how do I know that this is a client that's going to be for me? So that's going to be our last end of the day kind of thing. But this morning, we are going to focus on the social media aspect of it, because I know it is very intimidating for a lot of people. But it is also something that mamas like, and I know I've gotten this a lot, and I hear it a lot, where it's like, well, Mimi, social media is just not my thing, right? Social media is just something that I don't want to be doing. Social media is just something that no se me da, right? It's something that I just really cannot, get myself to doing. So I hope, Joanne's, yeah, this is like actually like a cute little, like a mauve pink. So I am feeling myself today. Absolutely. Uh, so the social media aspect of it, right, in our business, how it's being implemented. And I hope to be able to give you a strategy that is not going to make it so complicated for you girls, because, in the end, with all these tools that we've been hearing about, right, all this AI, all of this form of content and creation and all that good stuff, social media should not be hard for us to do, mamas. Okay. And in reality, it's not going to take you that much longer. Okay. One of the things that I have learned is that if I can commit, even if it's just one day, to what is called my like CEO day, to the day of where I'm working in my business, not just on the business, right? Where I'm able to like fix the thing. I'm sorry, not fix, but like keep up to date my social medias, my emails, right? Like my organization, my calendar. That's going to take me maybe an hour or 2 a day, even though sometimes it feels like it's going to take forever. But I promise you, like 1 hour, 2 hour tops, if you're trying to really set up your whole social media stuff, or just really creating this content, especially leveraging AI, should probably be the most that you're going to be investing in it. Okay. So because at the moment in our businesses, we do everything, right? We're the ones who do everything for our business. We do have to take that time to do it, right? There will come a time, especially if you are just starting in your business though, but there will come a time that you have put so much content out there that it is just much easier to now repurpose and not always have to create new content. And guess what? It is okay to repurpose content for any of your social media platforms. Okay. So I want you girls to think about social media as social media is like literally a free commercial for your business. Okay. Why? Because nobody watches TV anymore. Okay. People rarely listen to the radio, and people would actually pay a lot of money to be on the radio's commercials and be on those TV commercials, right? But guess what? Nobody is on that anymore. Oh my gosh. I personally still like to listen to the radio every once in a while. And the other day I was putting it on, and my son and my daughter were like, "Oh, mom, you listen to the radio?" I was like, "Yeah." Every once in a while I like to listen to it. And they're like, "Oh, mom, nobody listens to the radio anymore." And that really got me thinking, where I'm like, oh my gosh, like, there's definitely that generation of people that do not listen to the radio anymore, right? There is definitely that generation that still will, like people who still read a newspaper, stuff like that, right? It's crazy, but I'm sure there's still people who don't even have cable TV or like a Fire Smart TV, right? But everything now is based off of what? An ad or a social media connection, right? So social media, whether you're going to be using Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Snapchat, I don't know, those are the main ones that I know. I don't know of any other ones out there, right? You should be using your social media as a free marketing tool. Okay. Yeah, that is your money making machine. That is where you're going to get the exposure of who you are, what you do, and who do you serve. And that is what is going to help you gather leads without you having to leave your house. Okay. Now, this strategy of social media, right? It's just one strategy, okay? Because are there businesses out there that are successful without even being on social media? Absolutely. My dad's business. My dad's business, you know, he does bookkeeping, and he started to actually integrate bookkeeping and does tax prep. But guess what? His client base, because of taxes, never has to do any social media, never has had to do any kind of marketing, honestly, because he has such a good client base that from there it's a word of mouth and they know that he offers those services, right? So can it happen? Absolutely. Without social media? Yeah, I'm not going to say that you can't, but if you are not having a lead base of clientele, for example, like what my dad already has, or if you are not showing up in your local community with like a presence of people knowing who you are, what you do, and who do you serve, then you also should consider this social media strategy. Okay. So we'll have like those three options that are out there: social media, in-person networking, community-based events, or just really have a good clientele base for word of mouth. Some of the things that we are going to actually cover today are going to be talking about the main components that you should have on your social media profile, the systems to beat the algorithm, okay? Because believe it or not, social media, the internet, everything runs off of an algorithm. If we're not feeding into that algorithm, is why our things are not being seen by others, okay? The fourth thing social media actually does for your business, how, again, leveraging AI is going to make this social media part of it a little bit more easier for you to do, how to repurpose your content and what are some of the things you should be repurposing, the strategies that are working now, because what works now was not work. What worked, I'm sorry, in 2020 is not working in 2024 right now. So we're going to talk about those strategies and how the pillars are going to help you easily create content that can literally be scheduled out for a whole month, and just know what you're going to be talking about already, so you don't have to be thinking and stressing every day, what am I going to post today? Okay, so let's talk about the 4 components in your social media profile. Okay, the 4 components that everyone should always have is your cover photo, your profile picture,
No.
your bio, and what is on your feed. Okay, so your cover photo, and you know what, I'm actually going to share with you all some examples. Let me see. Let's go into social media because I know how to actually pull these up. Looking at mine, right? For mine in general, my social media speaks out to the mom accounts community, right? That's who I actually want to attract, and who I want to people know who I am, what I do, and who do I serve based off of my social media profile. So my cover photo, I'm always going to insist, mamas, the more pictures you can put of yourself, it's not that we're being conceited, okay? It's because we want people to identify ourselves with what we do, okay? So that when people see our face, okay, they can say, oh, Noemi teaches taxes, or Noemi has something to do with bookkeeping, or Noemi has something to do with moms, right? You will be able to identify with either one of them once you see a picture of me, right? You're going to be able to see that. So when you can put more pictures of yourself, especially promoting it on your social media content and on your profiles, once again, the more people are going to relate you to what you do, okay? And we want to do that. We want people to relate us to what we are doing. So a cover photo, I always like to have this little attention getter and telling people, what do I do, right? Hey, mama, master the skill set from home while enjoying your family with no degree, fancy office, or time wasted, okay? Now, you can add a couple more things. Do not overcrowd your cover photo, okay? And the reason why is because when people are normally scrolling on their phone, right, one of the first things they're seeing is always going to be that cover photo, that picture, and that bio of you, okay? So if you look at your phone real quick, okay, if you have it handy, you see those things that are there, okay? So the cover photo in the phone might not always be 100% legible, depending how your phone is coming up. but it should be clear enough and have those connecting components. Okay. So you can get very, very creative. I was like looking at some of the girls that have it. For example, Amanda, she has a very great job of like, okay, the name of her business. She's accepting clients, right? Like she's really putting out there what she does. I love how she has this click here because people are going to be like, oh, let me click here. What do I got to do when I click here? Right. And it gives a bio of herself and it tells how she can contact them. This is a really great strategy that can be used as well. The thing is, people need to be told what to do. Okay, either click here or comment here or give me a like, right? You need to tell people what to do. And if you're just making a post and not telling people what to do with that post, guess what? They're going to keep scrolling. Okay, that's just how social media works, because guess what? We do that too, right? So this is a very, very beautiful example. Joanne's, I know she recently updated hers as well, right? I love, and this is just how my computer looks like. I know you probably see it differently on your end, but this is just how mine looks up. But I always play around also with like how it would fall into it, because believe me, it can be kind of off. Schedule free consultation, right? Bookkeeping and tax, like that really pops out. I love how she has her picture right here. I think this was really cute. Joanne, so please let us know how you did that, because I am like, that is really, really cute. Right? It has her full name on there. We want to make sure that our profile picture is a picture of us, ladies. Okay. Please, mamas, like, do not put a picture of your dog. Do not put a picture of your flower. Do not put a picture of, your children, especially on social media, because guess what? People are searching, whether you know it or not. People are looking at your stuff. So it is important for people to have a legible picture of you. And once again, it's not about being conceited. It's not about showing off. It's not about, having a picture of us, super far away either. Be very careful with that. Because if you have it super far away, then it's kind of hard to see who it is, right? The most up closer picture you can have of your face, the better people will be able to identify it right away, regardless of the social media platform or the device that they are using. Your intro part, okay? This part right here is definitely something that you want to have that is cleaned up and clear, okay? Your intro, this really limits you to how many word counts you can have on here. So short and sweet and to the point, okay? Who you are, what you do, and who do you serve, okay? I'm a bookkeeping and tax professional, and I teach moms to master bookkeeping and make money while being home. That's what I do, okay? So people can identify me here as, oh, you do bookkeeping and taxes, and you also teach moms how to master the skill set of bookkeeping. Sweet, I want to connect with me, right? So what do you do? What are you serving? Who do you serve, right? Who are you trying to speak to? If you don't have a specific niche, hey, how can you speak in general? And guess what? Ask ChatGPT to help you put it together, right? Just write down your jot and ideas of like, hey, this is who I am. Please put this in a smaller word count and play around with it, right? Make it sound good. And then also when you have the details, mamas, clean this up, okay? Nobody needs to know what town you grew up in. I mean, I know we love our husbands and everything, but you don't have to put that you're married. I'm sure your social media is going to show that you are married, right? Like people know that I'm married because I literally talk about my husband and my family all the time. Like today is our 15-year anniversary, you guys. It's so cute. I know. So it's like I have him on blast all over, right? Like, hey, today's our anniversary. But you don't have to put all of those details here. Clean it up. Definitely you want to put, let's say, like, what's the name of your business, right? And how can people connect with you? Okay. This one here is on my Instagram. And then this one here takes them. So it's kind of like a, what you call it? A link tree that has different links of how they can connect with me. If you don't have different ways of how you want people to be connecting with you, put your Calendly link right here, okay? So that way people know, you can always direct them. Hey, the link is in my bio. The link is in my bio to schedule a call. The link is in my bio to schedule a call. So always just clean, sweet, to the point, right? On this intro part, which is gonna make your profile look way more cleaner. And you also wanna be consistent, mamas, with this throughout all your social media profile platforms. I'm sorry. Okay. So it's okay to have the same picture on Instagram. It's okay to have the same picture on your business profile if you have one for Facebook. It's okay to have the same picture on TikTok if you're using TikTok, right? Be consistent, okay? Because that allows for you to be wherever they're searching for you. Again, it's the connection that the audience is going to make with who you are, what you do, and who do you serve. Use seeing your picture and seeing your content. Have that consistency in all platforms, okay? And your news feed, okay, your feed, which is going to be what, what shows up all on these areas right here. So like when we're scrolling, okay, right here, oh my gosh, look at this beautiful girl. This is your news feed. So what is showing up here? Right? Who is showing up on your stuff? Okay. So we're going to talk about the strategy to beat the algorithm. But on your news feed and on your personal news feed as well, what are you sharing? What are you talking about? Okay. What is going on? Right? What do you talk about? Who do you share? What are you passionate for? That is what your news feed is going to actually tell people about you, right? So we are going to talk about those pillars that help kind of just like, have a rotation of what we share in our business to allow us to, again, not have people have to scroll so far into my news feed to know what do I do, right? To know about me. And as you can see, I always have like a rotation and a consistency of my content on my personal profile. Why? Because if I just had information about things that I share from other people, even though I am, let's say I want to share something about my friend's business, I would actually rather share that in my stories instead of my newsfeed. Why? Because the stories is still going to give them the shout out, but it's not going to stay permanent here because I want my newsfeed to be about me, about who do I serve, and again, even like, how I'm showing up on social media. So to me, I share about my faith. I share about my family. I share about what I'm doing. I share about, mom accounts because I'm so passionate about that, right? About the events that I'm having. I started to do these reels, and let me tell you, girls, okay, like quick hack here. I get paid from Facebook because of my reels, and you can get that too. Okay. Create your reels, put them on Facebook. Like it's not a whole lot. Like they send me like 10, 15 bucks. I think the most I've gotten was like $30 from Facebook one day because of my reels, right? But that's like something extra that you can put in, believe it or not. And some of these that go viral, I'm sure people make more money out of it, but it's sharing these tips, right? And we're going to go based off of the pillars that we're going to talk about. So your personal profile should absolutely have a repetitiveness of you, your life, your business, what's important to you, your life, your business, what's important to you, right? Because we're using our personal profile, okay? Because this is the thing, we should not use a personal profile 100% for business because Facebook doesn't like that. So you could either change it. Oh my gosh, I scrolled really low. You could really change it. I think it's called to like a professional profile where it's no longer considered a personal one. So instead of having friends, you get what are called followers. And you can do that consistency of different things. Your business profile, mamas, unless you're going to be running ads to that profile, honestly, do not waste your time on it. Like I know everyone's going to have a different opinion on this, but if you talk to anyone in marketing, like the business profile portion of it is literally for ads. And if you're not running ads or running an audience to your business profile, nobody's going to see your stuff. Okay. Nobody sees it. The only way that the IRS, the only way Facebook gives priority to your profile on the business is if you are spending money on them. Okay. So that's why it's like use your personal one. Mama, it's just, you want to mix in a little bit of everything. So that way it's showing up a little bit of everything as well. Okay. Let's get back. Okay. So your feed should be important on what is relevant and what is happening. Okay. Anna, did you have a question or was that a question to something that I said?
Yeah, sorry. So use the personal profile for your business,
Yes.
basically?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Just
let me tell
checking.
you why. Yeah. Let me tell you once again why. Because on your personal profile, okay, you have more friends, more family, right? Those are considered your warm network. those are considered the people who already know and trust you. So when you start talking about your business and your personal profile, right? They're going to see that, oh my gosh, Anna does this. Oh, I didn't know that these are the services she offered. And guess what? Your family might not be the ones who are going to be the ones who are going to be your clients, but they will know people and they will be like, oh, I remember, yes, mi prima Ana or my sister Ana, you know, she takes care of, so they'll connect you with potential leads. But again, with your personal profile on Facebook, you do have to be careful to not use it just for business. That's why I talk about the pillars, that you do have to have kind of like a rotation of your posts, okay? Because Facebook doesn't like people to use their personal profile for just business. The alternative to that is that you can have your personal profile to be selected as a professional profile, which is pretty much the same, but instead of limiting friends, you can get followers. So it's still like having friend request, but they become followers instead of just friends. And actually in that personal profile, like a professional profile, I'm sorry, are they called like a creator's profile? I don't remember the exact term for it. You can actually be more broad and more extensive and more detailed and share as much as you want of your business. And Facebook will not have an issue with it. Okay. So those 4 components in your social media should be the ones that you want to be always taking care of. Okay. Maybe can you check that? Okay, so let's talk about the system to beat the algorithm, okay? And I have to show you this. I can't just talk on it. And the way we are going to beat the algorithm. So remember, algorithm works off of a AI computer, right? Something that is just, you know, using to the benefit of what we are more active in, what we are more involved in, what do we look at more. Have you girls noticed that you will get ads based off of something you saw on Google or something else? That's because the algorithm saw, and it's called oh my gosh, ¿cómo se llama? I just completely forgot what is the word of it that captures your search wherever you're at. There's a specific word for it, and I can't think about it right now. So that is why you start to come up with these specific ads in your feed. Or if you engage with a contact in your phone, right? And now they show up on your social media. Guess what? Because all of that is connected. All of that is connected, and that's how the algorithm is working. So what we want to do is make sure that in this main feed of our social media, whether it be on TikTok, whether it be on Instagram, right? We want to be relevant to those people, to our audience. So what happens is we have to engage, okay? So one of the hacks that I like to use is the like, comment, repeat, okay? Like, comment, repeat. That's going to be the thing that we're going to be doing. And if you are scrolling through social media without a purpose, mamas, you are wasting your time. Okay. So when you are scrolling through social media, okay, you need to be scrolling with a purpose on beating the algorithm. You always have to think now that social media for you is your free commercials, that at any moment you can have a lead, you can have a potential client, you can have someone interested in your services because of what you are doing on social media. So we need to switch the mindset of not being just consumers on social media, okay? Because it is very, very common for us to fall into it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm guilty of it, especially in TikTok, but I have to catch myself really quick when I'm scrolling without a purpose. And because why? Because we are business owners, right? Social media, yes, it's great to connect with people and everything, and it's always been that intention, but social media in the end is where people are hanging out, where people are, and that is where people are going to know about what we do, okay? So some of the things that we want to be engaging here, for example, on our newsfeed. This is my personal newsfeed here. Okay. So for example, when you see groups, okay, we know this is the free mama, this is a group. Okay. I do want to engage here. Absolutely want to be engaging in groups. Why? Because when you now go in and post in a social media group, when you post something, people are going to see it, and especially in groups that have a lot of people. Like this one, we can see the Free Mama Movement has 44,000 people in here. Like that's a lot of people. When you make a post, it can be easily lost in there. But when I am engaging, right, it's going to help it be a little bit more show up when I make a post. Have you girls ever made a post in the Mom Accounts community and sometimes people don't respond, right? Or it takes a while for someone to respond. That's because it's not showing up on socials, on people's algorithm, because maybe that person is not as active in the Mom Accounts community and they just make a post and then nobody's seeing it because they're not active in it. So what I like to do, right, I'll definitely kind of like skim through it, right? Kind of go through what is here. I'm going to like and I'm going to comment. Okay. And just can be, you know, thanks for sharing this information. Great tips. Right. Obviously read through it, you know, don't just post something randomly, you know, but definitely you're going to want to see, okay, what was this about? What did she post? And give yourself maybe like a 15-minute you know, like a 15-minute like timer, right? You can go on Google, look for a 15-minute timer, put that timer on your phone and say, for 15 minutes I'm going to like, comment, and engage in my algorithm. Okay. Do not engage with ads. You know it's an ad when it says sponsored, okay? Because then you're going to be just literally bombarded with ads. Okay, this is someone else looking for work. I have a BA, willing to relocate. Any referrals appreciated, right? Even this is not relevant for me, I'm still gonna like and comment in it. Okay, I'm even if I don't have, you know, a referral for her, even though I don't have maybe something 100% that can help her, but I'm like, hey, have you thought about starting your own, you know, say social media business, something that's going to be relevant to their post, right? And then we'll go down to the next one. This is another person I'm going to like. I know, so my feed right now is just crazy with a lot of political stuff, ladies, so please don't take anything personal. And I'm just like, wow, I'm just gonna be like, wow, you know, because sometimes I don't want to engage in everything. This is another group that I'm a part of. This has 18,000. So, you know, this one we were just talking about this, right? So I'm gonna be like, second tax jar. We were, you know, because we were talking about how tax jar helps you file for different things. So you want to be engaging with people and Facebook groups, okay? Don't engage in sponsored stuff. Don't engage with like, you know, people who are, you know, how there's those Facebook pages that like have like cute little quotes and stuff, right? I would just like copy and reshare that into my stories instead of actually engaging with them, because then those pages are going to be filling up my newsfeed. I want my newsfeed to have people, right? Natalie Bullen, oh my gosh, let me tell you, this woman, she is very smart and strategic on how she uses this is her personal profile turned into one of those like I said, I think it's like a content or a professional profile, not the personal one anymore, but she turned it into a follower, and she literally chats up a storm in her comments. Like she is commenting all the time. So she's a really good example of like how she only shows up on Facebook. She has no other platform that she's showing up, but this is how she goes over with her business. So just wanted to point her out because she does a really good job. Again, lives from people that I know, yeah, I'm gonna want to like and comment, right? So you girls get the point, right? This is how we beat the algorithm so that when we make a post, your information, your post will be relevant to people. Okay, if we do not have these posts, no one's going to see our stuff. Okay, no one is going to see it. No one is going to see what we're posting about. No one is going to see what we are talking about. And it is important for you to engage first in that algorithm and then make your post. Okay, so don't make a post first and then engage. The opposite. Make an engagement first and then post. Okay. And just kind of do that maybe 2-3 times a week. Or whenever you find yourself scrolling, and even on TikTok, even on Instagram, right? You're going to want to like and comment, like and comment, like and comment, because you need to have exposure to your profile. Okay. Why do we do this? We do this because social media does 4 things for our business. Okay. Number one, what social media is going to do. This is kind of like the process that happens. Okay. You inform the offer. Okay. This is you putting together your offer, right? Putting together your content, I'm sorry, of what you're offering. Let's say diagnostics reviews, right? That was something we talked about. So you want to put together what your offer is going to be on a diagnostic. Okay. Then when you put that together, your offer is going to inform the audience. Okay. In the end, it's not you, it's what you put out into social media that is going to inform the people of what it is that you are offering. Okay. And then my audience is going to actually inform my messaging, meaning that once the audience has received and seen my stuff on social media, seen my post, seen my story, right? They're the ones who are going to actually be talking about what it is that I do and how can I get in contact with this person because of what they are offering. Okay. And then my own message is going to put that offer together, and that's what's going to make money. Okay. So even though you're the one showing up on the social media post, no, mamas, that it's not you, it's the offer and the messaging that you're putting together in there that is going to attract that client to you. Okay. You are the face, you are like, the person who's going to be relevant to showing this information on social media. Obviously, you're the one who does the work, but our offer and our messaging is what captures people to work with us. Okay. So how, again, do we leverage AI to help us with all this content building, to help this be a little bit more easier on our end? Okay. AI can literally help you create the content that you want. If you're using Canva, within Canva, there's AI now. Okay. You literally can write up all of your content. Hey, can you help me with 10 tips that I can give to a small business owner and put it together in a social media post for me, right? Now it'll create that, and you're going to go back and just review and test and tweak it again to make it sound like you. We don't want to sound robotic. Have AI, ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, those things that I shared with you yesterday on those different bots that can help you with creating this content. Okay. Do not look at a blank Canva file and be like, what am I going to talk about? Ladies, like, quítense de eso. Like, stop doing that, right? Like, go to ChatGPT and do your brain dump there, or your ideas and your thoughts, because sometimes we might not have the right words for it, but guess what? AI is going to help us get those words out, if you know what I mean. Okay. And Otter AI, kind of like Fathom, remember? So like, if I know some of you girls are like very still intimidating to even go live, but Dani, shout out to you, because I see you, girl. I see you showing up on your videos, and I love that so much. So something like Otter or AI, those videos that you are sharing with people can help you actually repurpose them into an actual video, into a training, into a small story, reel, whatever it is that you want, right? A TikTok, which is going to help you create that content automatically. And it's literally just dropping that video into those editing those Otter AIs or Fathom, or recording yourself using those videos so that it can help you create the social media content that you want when it comes to video. And believe it or not, ladies, video right now is still king. Okay. Like, posts are great, blogs are great, right? Emailing is amazing, but people right now watch videos, right? People want to watch a video. You can make a long form post, but if you compare a post versus a video, people are going to be watching the video even more. Okay. So record yourself, mamas, right? Record yourself in a way. If you feel comfortable, do it on your camera. If you don't want to go live, right? Because you want a specific aesthetic. Hey, that is all you, mamas. But once again, show up as yourself. And that video that you have recorded, you can absolutely now repurpose this into Otter, into Fathom, into Munch. If you have like a long training that you did, I know a lot of you girls here have so much to share. You all have an expertise or are getting really good at something. Sometimes it can just be that relationship between, hey, you know, being a mom and starting a business, right? When you're starting out, that's what you got to talk about, because that's what attracts people to start watching your content. I don't know if you girls remember when I talked about my social media stuff, like one of the things that I did was literally like going live with my daughter. I would go live with my daughter and she would like do my makeup, do my hair, but we would just talk about certain things. Why? Because I just wanted to build up momentum. I just wanted to build up people starting to look at my stuff. The moment I started to see that algorithm pick up is when I started to now put in nibbles and tips about what I was doing and things like that. Okay. So AI bots, ChatGPT, all that good stuff helps us with this idea contents, helps us with creating outlines, okay, mamas, lists, right? Anything that you want to share, pick one topic of all the ones that we've learned about this week and ask ChatGPT to help you create content with that, right? You can also have it tweak your already made content. So many of you girls might already have emails or blogs or thoughts and ideas that you've already done. And guess what? Use AI with the tools that I shared with you yesterday about video repurposing to help you create this content for you. It doesn't have to be aesthetically pretty. It doesn't have to be beautifully made. Okay. Let's kind of get out of that mindset that it needs to look good. Okay. Ladies, there's times where I don't have time to be on Canva to create something. Okay. And right now I don't have a social media person who is helping me manage my social media. So guess what? I need to do what works for me, and I need to do what is going to be easy for me. So what works for me or what makes it easy? Sometimes just a picture and, you know, putting some content on my picture with it. Voxing yourself ideas. How many of you girls are sometimes like out and about and you're like, oh, this would be really good content for social media? Box it to yourself, right? Record yourself on your phone. You can actually drop those things into Munch, into CapCut that captures your captions, right? And then literally put a video of like B-roll over it. Mamas, it's not that hard, okay? Give writing examples, right? Record yourself when you are also, let's say, just washing the dishes, you know, working on your computer. That is called like that B-roll, right? You're out in a walk with your kids, just record your feet. That B-roll is gonna help, and you can just give AI writing examples that you literally just copy and paste that into your video, which is now creating content for you, okay? Repurposing your content, right? The tools to repurpose your content, kind of like Munch, CapCut, is two of the main ones that you can use, because you can use that throughout all the social media profile contents that you have. And this is the thing. I don't want you to think that you have to be in all those social media platforms. I do want you to pick one, be really good at it. Which is your favorite one? Which one do you show up the most? And that's where you're going to start creating this content and repurposing your stuff in there. And then if you see that you have a following in other platforms, then go and invest your time in other platforms. Okay. You don't have to be in all of the social media platforms. Okay. But if you do, use the same platform. I'm sorry, use the same content. Okay. Do not try to do something different for each platform. Make it easy for you, mamas, right? And just put this same content in all of your platforms, okay? One of the things too, though, if you are repurposing your content, you want to make sure that it is also relevant information that you are repurposing from. So for example, if you are going to repurpose actually something, you can actually repurpose things from like 6 months back, because people will not always fully capture that. You might remember, but people won't. Okay. So when you are repurposing a content, just make sure that it is relevant information and things that have to do with, you know, what you're talking about at that moment. So the strategies that are working now that you should be putting in your content is access to you, okay? Your opinions, your stories, your value, your passions, right? This is important, and you should be creating content based off of that. Why? Because people still urge connection. The pandemic still left us with this like ripple effect of like, hey, I still want to get to know Jill. I still want to get to know Brenda. I want to know what Maribel is about. Like, how is her life, right? Because on social media, we get very curious about that, right? And we are all doing that of we're scrolling through people's stuff and be like, hey, what are you about? Like, what do you do, right? So when you create content based off of your opinions, your story, your values, and your passions, this is going to have people feel closer to you as an audience, which they're going to want to be connected to you. Okay. And that is what social media is going to build. It builds that know, like, and trust factor that helps us attract those clients to us. And sometimes they won't be our clients, but they are that warm audience that if they know somebody that needs my services, I am the first one that they are referring to because of the services that I'm offering and because of how I show up on social media. Okay. Authority. What can you teach them? A day in your life. You know, what are you an expert in? These three things, mamas, can be a combination of your expertise of your business. And guess what? It can also be an expertise of like, hey, what about a hobby? What about something else that you do, right? What about sharing with us a day in your life? How does your day look like? All you have to do is just record. Honestly, just hit record on your phone, drop it into CapCut, and it'll do whatever it needs it to do for you, right? So if you're doing it all off on your phone, you don't even have to have expensive software or anything like that. Right now, like I said, even like Loom or StreamYard or Munch does all of that for you as well. But you show up with authority because you want people to know that you know what you're doing, right? We want them to know that you are an expert, what is that you can teach them, that you do have a lot of valuable insights to their person as a business and everything like that, okay? And last but not least, what is very relevant right now in a strategy is the attitude, okay? How many of you girls get really engaged with content when they're like, maybe like, not bashing, but like giving like a really strong opinion about, let's say, QuickBooks versus Zero, okay? Or like, let's say, you know, Gmail versus iCloud, right? Giving strong opinions on, let's say, the softwares or thoughts of things that you're doing, things that you disagree with, right? And state a new belief of it. Like, for example, a big one that I would say on attitude is like, if you're a business owner, you should not be doing your own bookkeeping, okay? This is why you should not be doing your own bookkeeping. Like, stop listening to QuickBooks that says you can do your own bookkeeping. Like, if you're a business owner, stop. You should not be doing that, right? Things like that that are going to call that attention with attitude to that audience. They're going to be like, oh, she's talking to me. Dang, like that felt personal. What does she have to say about this? You know? So like show up with that kind of attitude. The one versus other, right? And also the quality of content you're providing honestly does have a big impact right now too. So always look for that good lighting, right? With your phones, I'm sure a lot of our phones right now have a good quality of recording, but if you don't have that like quality of recording, just know that having good lighting does a world of a difference. And just make sure that you are always cleaning your your lens from your phones, mamas, okay? Because we can tell when ladies take pictures or videos and we do not clean the lens to our phones because it looks very blurry and stuff like that, right? So those little things. Now, the pillars of social media, we're actually going to work on this together coming from our lunch break, but I just want you to keep these in mind. You do have this in your workbook as well, okay? But these are some of the pillars that we use, and you can use this, mamas. Doesn't mean you have to go off of this. Guess what? Ask ChatGPT to create some new ones for you if you wanted to, right? Or if there's other things that are more relevant to you, these are just the ones that I have found are easy to use and come up with the content on a Monday through Friday basis. So that way I know I am pretty much, you know, showing up on social media as well. Okay, so we are going to deep dive this a little bit more in our workshopping class right after our lunch, mamas. Okay, so with that being said, we actually have our speaker here with us today already, and we're going to dive straight into learning from Carla. And I want to give you girls a quick introduction from Carla. Carla and we met in the Free Mama community. I want to say it's going to be almost 5 years now. She is like my branding girl girl. Like, so she's the one who's taken care of branding all of my mom account stuff. She's helped me with like some content and colors and everything. So all the colors that you see that I use in mom accounts, a lot of the shirts, those of you who went to the Tax Fest, Carla's the one who designed them for us, right? So she has, the eye of branding, but she also actually teaches others how to start their own business when it comes to branding. And I think it's a very beautiful thing that she does because everyone has an eye for certain things, right? And Brenda, oh my gosh, why was I saying Brenda? Carla, I was looking at you, Brenda, but I still thought diciendo Brenda. Carla is going to come in and show us again how important is our branding? Is it important for us? Because I know a lot of us get really hung up on that. And how do we use that to our advantage in our business? So Carla, I will let you take it away, Mama. I know you are out in Mazatlan right now, super jealous. But thank you for taking time out of your day to be here.
Hi, Nomi. Hi, everyone. I'm trying to figure out the best lighting. I'm like, my stand, it's like a luggage. Yeah, I'm trying to just figure out. But anyways, I'm so happy to be here and to meet all of you. I'm so excited that you've been with Noemi. This is day 3, I think, or 4. I can't remember. Is it 3? Okay, yeah, and day 3. And thank you so much for your time, so I can share my passion, which is brand design. I am going to share my screen and see. Tech is not my strongest. So bear with me. Can I get some thumbs up if you see my face moving thing? Okay, good. Now let me get the chat, and because I like to keep this a little bit interactive. Okay, got the chat. I got this. Okay, before I forget, I'll put here my details. Sorry, it's I'll call. Let me silence my phone. Okay. Now I lost all the things. I'm so sorry. Let me there. Okay, I'm putting my details on the chat before I forget, and then I'll keep the chat so we can. We're gonna be playing games, and I'll need you to help me further in the presentation. So I'm here to share about how to branding your bookkeeping business, and not only having the look and feel that you want to portray to the world, but it's something that not only you're going to love, but also that your customers are going to remember and resonate and trust with. It's very similar to what Noemi mentioned about, like, you're going to be implementing all this branding in your social media and your website, and this is going to help with the like, know, and trust. So if you wish your bookkeeping business look better, or you feel overwhelmed when it comes to design, or you want more sales in your business, you're in the right place, because I'm going to be sharing all different things and how you can achieve all these things. I would like to see in the chat to think about, like, your current business, the visual part of it, like your logo, your brand colors, your brand fonts. How do you feel it when you share with others? Are you happy and confident with it, or you're like, like, I think it can get some improvement? Can you give me a 1 or 2? Okay, Jill, thank you for the honesty. And I'm because I see Jane saying number 2 in the video. Perfect. Okay, I like ones. A lot. Some people would say like 1.5. So kind of like in the middle. Okay, thank you for sharing. Because after our time together, this is my promise to you. You're gonna feel confident and knowledgeable about what goes into the brand design development process. You're gonna learn the importance of applying design psychology, such as the use of colors and fonts in your brand identity. And you're also gonna gain tips on your own brand identity, how to apply it in your business without feeling any of the overwhelm. But before I get started, I want to introduce myself. I know Noemi already did, but my name is Carla Pamanes. I live in San Antonio. I'm originally from Mexico, But I live in San Antonio, Texas with my pizza-obsessed son, Lennon. He's 11 years old. I'm a single mother. I'm 100% cat lady. These are my cats. This is Teodoro, and this is Paquito. We just adopted him. He's like, I think like 7 months old. And I'm a twin. This is my twin sister, Maria, and this is me. I'm the oldest for 1 minute. And I love cars in all shapes and forms. Professionally, I've been in design since officially, like with a degree, 2008, but way before that. I worked in corporate for 10 years in Knoxville, Tennessee. That was my cool office. And then unfortunately, I always felt like I wanted to do more, but as an immigrant in this country, it's not that simple with the whole immigration process. So I stuck to it for 10 years, which I loved it. But then a merger happened. I work for cable network channels, and nobody uses cable anymore. So we were all laid off. Discovery acquired the company that I worked at. The company owned cable networks like Food Network, HGTV, Travel Channel, and more. And that led me to move to Connecticut from 2019 to 2020. That's where I worked. I got some agency experience there. It was very short my time over there that I didn't even get a photo of myself in my office. But what was really cool is like we worked in a library building. So the library had closed and we got to work in the library building. And funny story is that the first job that I applied for when I moved to Connecticut was to be a designer and Spanish translator at a library, at the local library, like at the Hartford Library. And I didn't get the job, but funny thing, I got the agency job and the library was a client. And then I got to work in a library. So that was really cool. In 2020, that's when I hit rock bottom because just like everybody else, we were in the pandemic. I lost my short-lived job at the agency. And then my dad passed away due to COVID. And that was like when I was just so, yeah, like just hitting rock bottom. Like, okay, I need to figure out what I want to, like, I knew like, it was a reminder that life is so short. And then it's like, okay, what I really want to do in my life. I also was gonna turn 35 in 2020. And my dad passed away 10 days shy of being turning 70. And I was like, okay, if this is the half of my life, like just like my dad passed away, I'm like, what I really want to do, like, do I want to keep it with emotions and be afraid of really what I wanted to do, which was like going on my own and doing my own thing, or I was gonna be brave and do it. And also I also needed to have, I felt like it was just beyond me at that point too, because I felt like the responsibility of being there for my mom and just support her. So that's when I decided to go in my business. In 2021, I decided to no longer file for unemployment, and I'm like, I need to figure this thing out. And luckily, I found so many supportive friends like me who were ahead of me, and I could like feel inspired that if she can do it, I can do it too. And found a great community and all, but really most of it, like you can have a community, you can find the network, but it's all in you. Like you really have to really trust that you can do it, and just go for it. And that's what I did. And from 2021 to the present, I get to work for myself. And this is usually where I work, at the kitchen island with my crazy son. After 3 p.m. the things like get crazy when he comes from school. Here's a glimpse of the work that I do. I specialize in logo design, brand identity design. I work with so many different industries, like from restaurants to subscription model businesses, beauty, product like planners, consultants, like pillow designer, travel businesses. This is my mom's business, like a chocolate business, realtors, pharmacies, bakeries. This is like an architect who specializes in food service design, like all different industries. But what I want to talk in this minutes that we have, it's about brand identity design. And sometimes like words like brand, branding are all use interchangeably, and I'll talk about a little bit of the terms in the next slides, but I want to like define what brand identity design is. It's the collection of the visual elements a brand has that makes it unique. The keyword here is visual. So it's the things that we see, like photography, colors, fonts, patterns, or any other graphic elements. So here's like the definition. Some people come to me like, oh, I just need a logo for my brand. Like, you know, thinking that the logo it's what's gonna really like give the identity to a brand, which yes, it really does help to identify a brand, but really a brand identity is what really just helps tells the story. And it's also all those tangible elements that represent the brand. So it's just beyond the symbol. It's all the other elements that sometimes we don't think they're that important. And I'll show you them. I'll show you as we continue on how important they are. Then branding is the process of creating and managing a brand. So that's beyond the visuals. It's also your messaging, and like your copy, all the things. And then brand is the overall perception and the reputation of your company or business. So we're gonna focus on the identity part. Why it's important to have a strong brand identity? Well, first impressions are made in 7 seconds or less. Let's say you are going to the mall and you want to buy your mom like the most beautiful bracelet at the most luxury, like at the luxurious jewelry store at the mall. So the mall has like 2 stores. They look exactly like the same on the outside, but they have just different logos. Which one would you really think is the legit luxury jewelry store? 1 or 2? I'm seeing 2s in the chat. Yep. So when I want to talk about this exercise, it's like if you're designing your own logo, or if you're working with that designer and you're giving input on how to design your logo, sometimes people think like with logos, they think like they have to be literal, that they have to have like an image of what is the service, you know, if it's a hamburger, like, you know, like if it's bookkeeping, like, you know, numbers or a calculator or things like that they're so cliche. But sometimes we can tell the story of a brand, like we're talking about luxury, but just using the right typeface, the right fonts that really will help tell that story. So here's like the example of like how really typography, it's even like bigger, like it's king when it comes to design on what selecting the right fonts for your brand. Also the colors, like just being in black really feels more luxury. I think like the pink feels a little more childish, you know, more like, you know, kind of like Claire's for kids. There's research that suggests that it takes only 1/10 of a second for someone to determine trustworthiness. And we want to make sure like your business looks trustworthy from the get-go. This is a research from Stanford University. So here's just like a little just visual example. Like you're going to a restaurant and you pass by the restroom and you get to get a sneak of the kitchen. Which one, I think I forgot the numbers here, but like let's say 1 or 2. Like, you know, would you trust kitchen number 1 or kitchen number 2? I would run away from kitchen number 1, right? So it's like we want to make sure, like, you know, visually, like that we do our like that we're legit in business, you know, that we're trustworthy. So now here's like where I would like to play a game with all of you. And the chat. Well, you already been playing with me. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. I'm sorry. I know what I need to do. Airplane mode. Okay, sorry. Okay, let's play the game. I want to look at what is your first impression. Which brand is the most expensive visually? You're at the store. You want to buy the most expensive shampoo. Will you say A or B? Seeing B's or 2? Yeah. Okay. And I want you to like think it so much, like just right away. Okay, perfect. Which brand is the spices? You want the spices chips. So you go to the store. Which one would you get? Bag A or B? Okay, I'm seeing A. Okay, next one. Which brand is the most holistic? You're looking for a holistic coach. Which one really feels like the most holistic website if you find it online? A or B? Seeing A's. Okay. and then you want to treat yourself with ice cream, but like you want the healthiest ingredients. Which ice cream packaging would you say has the healthiest ingredients, A or B? Okay, I'm seeing these. Perfect. I think we're all like kind of in the same page. Okay, I would love to see in the chat, or like you kind of mute yourself. What do you see that it's exactly the same? I'm gonna go. Yes, Brenda, winner. Okay, yeah, the logo. The logo is the same in all the different, yeah, also the type is the same. The same words are the same copy, even though there's like not much copy. Here's like color here and anti-freeze. But yeah, but the main thing is it's the logo is the same. Like people come to me, I'm like, oh, like I mentioned, like I just want a logo for my brand that they think that's all they need. But as in this exercise, we can see that the logo is the same, but we're transmitting different things because of the overall brand identity elements through the use of color and the use of fonts. We're telling a different story. So this is why, like, a great example that, you know, the brand identity design is much more than just a logo. So I thought like that's a great example to show you. The reason why I'm pretty sure like we all say like the same, resonated to the same image, either A or B, was because of design psychology. I like it. I'm glad, Anna, you're making me happy. Like I literally like just I'm starting my day with you, so you're already making my day. Thank you. I'm glad that it blew your mind. So design psychology is what really is telling the story of what we want to transmit. So there's like a couple different elements for design psychology, but the main ones are fonts and colors. So let's say we're looking again like another 1 or 2 exercise. Let's say Black Eagles, it's like a motorcycle club for badass men. Which font do you think is the most appropriate for the band, for the brand? 1 or 2? Yeah, I'll say, yeah, 2 feels like more appropriate. So here's another example why fonts are, how we pick fonts are so important to what we transmit in the brand. Although the example here are more like decorative fonts, the most common type of fonts are serif, sans serif, and script fonts. So serif are what looks like they have feet at the end of each letter. So they have like this decorative thing on the S, or the little ball on the R, here on the F. So these are serif fonts. They are great if you want your brand to appear trustworthy, traditional, elegant, and timeless. Something to mention, you can use more than one font for your brand, right? Like you can use like, even for your logo, you can have like your logo have one font for the main name, and maybe the tagline has another different font. These fonts are used for luxury brands, and they tend to have an expensive, like high quality feeling. The examples that I'm giving for each category are Google Fonts. Google Fonts are free for personal and commercial use. So you can go and like Google, I mean, many of us know Times New Roman or Bodoni, and those you can use in your brand without having to pay for the license. Then we have sans serif fonts. So like if serif means like with the feet, sans serif means like without the foot, here without decorative elements. So they have smooth edges, each of the characters. They give like a more sleek, modern feel to brands, and in all caps with a lot of spacing. We can use them in different ways to give a different feeling. So in all caps and with different like with spacing in between can look a little more like contemporary and bold. But if we use them like lowercase, it will give like an idea that it's like more playful and joyful. So they're like very, like it's very dynamic sans serif fonts. I would say like a lot of brands can go away with a sans serif font. Examples are Helvetica and Roboto. And then we have script fonts that emulate cursive handwriting, and they give like a more luxurious and feminine feel to a brand. Depending on the style of the script font, they can either be like very traditional or sophisticated or modern and trendy. Examples are Allura and Pacifico. A big disclaimer about script fonts. Use them lightly. Like, don't use them like to write a whole paragraph. Like, if you're using script fonts in your logo, make sure it's legible. Like, script fonts can look like very pretty, but they also can be very hard to read sometimes. So pick the right script font, use it like very sporadically, and make sure it's legible. Then we go to colors. So this is just a very simple exercise. You know, if we want to represent that something's hot, which color would you pick? One or two, like the red or the lavender? Yeah, I'm seeing one, like for, yeah, red is like, I mean, even I would say like, it's not, you don't have to go to design like school to learn that red represent like something like hot on fire, but because through life we've seen how the color is used in different applications, you know, like for like a firefighter or like fire extinguisher, or like just even random things like, you know, if for the water, you know, the red is like for hot, the blue is for cold, and like we know these things, and without people like going to school to learn these things, is through life that we know these things and want to make sure we telling the right story. So if you want to, like, you can take a photo of this color chart that explains like what different, or you can just Google, you know, like color theory, like what each color represents. So I want you to think about like brands, like let's think like Coca-Cola and Target that use red in their brand. Like, I would like you to see going forward, like brands deeper than just like the symbol. Like, why are they using that fonts? Why are they using those colors? So red means like excitement, strength, love, energy. And then you will see like, oh yeah, like this is like what Coca-Cola like stands for, like excitement. And it gives like this energy about like energizing feeling. A lot of like restaurants use red too. Like, it really just like gives like this sense of energy, and it's great like also like for food business. Orange gives like confidence, success, bravery, sociability. Yellow is like for creativity, happiness, warmth, cheer. Green for nature, healing, freshness, quality. Blue is a great example on how we have uh, colors and what they represent, but within a color, there's like hundreds of colors in between. So, you know, a light blue can like give the sense of like peace and some like tranquility. But then we can have like a deeper blue that will give like more like a trust kind of feeling, like banks. Look at banks. So many banks use like blue. So also within a color, look at the spectrum, because it can give a different feeling. You know, like a navy blue wouldn't give me like so much like a peace kind of feeling, although it can. And but then also like we can use the variations of tonalities of the color to help tell the story, because it can also be peace, and also it can give both feelings, you know, trust and peace, because we can use maybe a navy blue, but then also a lighter blue with the brand. Something that I forgot to mention about the fonts, you know, you want to make sure you don't use more than 3 fonts for your brand. Like, stick to 3 or less. When it comes to colors, pick no more than 6, I would say. Like, it really depends. So what I will do is like pick like 2 to 3 primary, and then use like secondary colors, 2 to 3 secondary colors, and then about like 2 accent colors. And I'll show you how I do this for my clients. So no more than 6 colors, no more than 3 fonts. Again, like pink, big pink brand that comes to my mind is Barbie. You know, like it's have a sweet, more feminine, but also represent compassion, sincerity, sophistication. Purple for royalty, luxury, spirituality, ambition. Brown, it's like dependable, brown, trustworthy, simple. Brown that comes to my mind is UPS. Black for formality, dramatic, sophistication, and security. And just also like, I mean, even like we hear about like, you know, when we dress up, like, you know, like when we like, oh, it's a formal thing, like we wear black. So think about like your brand the same way as like how we choose also the colors that we use to dress. white brand, big like white brand, it's Apple, right? A clean, simplicity, innocence, honest, and like, oh, like now makes sense why they pick these colors for the brands to tell this type of story. But then also, you only just not pick one color. You can pick a different colors, and also, you know, create the story of your brand through the things that you want to represent. A strong brand identity is cohesive and easy to apply in your marketing materials. So this is what I mean. This is what I give to my clients when I create their brand identities. So but you know this brand, accounts they had. So I provide the logo, which is the primary logo, then the colors. So again, like we have like the primary colors, secondary colors, and then the accent colors. Logo variations, it's important to have logo variations. So I like this, it's not just for marketing, but I love that, Brenda. Yeah, for everything, for your personal styling, for your house, for all the things. You can use all this, the color theory for pretty much like anything that you use color in your life. Logo variations are important because sometimes your primary logo might not work in all the different places in your marketing. So usually for websites, a horizontal logo, it's best because you have like a narrow nav bar. And then also brand marks are important because like, if you look at your phone, all the apps that you see, those are all brand marks, are the simplest form of a logo to represent a brand. So it's like monograms or just like an icon. Then I give like a little hint of application. Okay, like let's mix a primary color with these are like slogans and graphics. These are optional, but I like to provide those as graphics for my clients. But here's like, okay, what if we use a hashtag with the second color, right? And then we also use the typography that it's here at the bottom, the typography that has been selected for the brand. I got cut off, but Mama Cans do have like Mama Cans have all three different types of fonts. It has the script font, the serif font, and the sans serif font. And then patterns also to help support the brand identity. So what I like to explain on how to use your brand identity is like if you're going to a Chipotle restaurant or like a Subway restaurant where like you go on like, you know, regardless of whatever like someone orders, like it's like still like Chipotle, right? Even if you order the taco, the burrito, the bowl, or like, you know, I don't know, I think that's it, all you can order there. And so we think about like the ingredients and we use different quantities depending on what we're creating, right? So let's say I'm doing a website. On a website, I would rather pretty much go with a horizontal logo. And then maybe in the header, I'm gonna use color number 1. But then maybe on the next part of the website, I wanna use font number 1, and then maybe I'll add a little piece of this pattern. But regardless of if I'm doing the website, social media graphics, a business card, like any marketing materials, everything's gonna feel like the same because you're only using these elements. So this is a very important thing, exercise to do. Create the pieces and parts of your brand and stick to them. Like don't go to Canva and be like, oh, new template, like this is now glowy thingy, like with neon colors that you might like. I want you to do it. That you might like, but it's so important that it's not only about what you like, but what really resonates to your brand, what really helps tell the story of your brand. So this is where it gets a little bit hard because we need to separate what is what we like. So maybe I like pink, but pink doesn't work for my brand. So I need to stick with my brand colors too, because what we're designing is for the audience in mind, to attract them. And keeping that cohesive look and feel, it's so important. So here's an example of how I'm using Mama Count's brand design elements to keep the cohesiveness of the brand, right? Like we have like the variations of the logo only in gold, and then gold and on the burgundy. How I'm using only the brand fonts for marketing material, for other like event logos, and just like swag. So everything feels like Mama Counts. A strong brand identity reflects your brand in an accurate and professional way that resonates with your audience and helps build trust. So this is what I was mentioning about like that we want to give the right reflection of the brand. So here are some examples of the work that I've done for other clients. A very important piece of my branding questionnaire is, what are 3 words that best describe your brand? So I would like you to write those in a Post-it note. What are those 3 words that you want to be known for, and that, or how you want to be like portrayed as? So Joanna Shipley is a coach who helps other holistic practitioners in their business, and she wanted her brand to feel empowered, supportive, and optimistic. So those 3 words are the ones that I keep in mind always when I'm designing her logo, her brand, her colors, all the brand identity, to give that feel and that like the overall look and feel and experience with the brand. So then I have this one. He is a dance instructor. He wants his brand to feel exciting, sexy, romantic, and also classy. So this is what I created for his brand identity. I also picked like a script font because that gives like the idea of like something sexy and romantic, but also classy. Let's keep it with classic colors, exciting. We use all these elements, not necessarily to tell like for every single element of the brand, but when we put it all together, it does give like that idea. This is a lawyer, so he wants to portray expertise, integrity, and that his brand feels effective. This was actually a rebrand, so the logo was an iteration of his previous brand, so how it feels like it's has evolved. Then what I really like to show here is also the application. You have the brand identity here, but then how it's applied to the brand. Even like in the photography, it has like a blue overlay. Here in the social media graphic, it's giving the angles of the triangles here in the back. This brand is she sells planners, so she wanted her brand to be simple, intentional, and inspiring. Intentional is like a big like keyword. It's actually be intentional. It's her slogan, so she wanted to keep it very simple. I rarely do brands with like a graphic if it doesn't have if I cannot back it up of why it has a graphic mark. So this is also a rebrand, and her original logo was like a literal sprout in green, like her cousin made it, or her cousin's someone, like the friend of the friend, and made her logo. And for her, it was like really hard to rebrand because like someone did a favor to do the logo. But when she hired me to design the planners, the covers of the planners, but we were like, it was so hard to make beautiful cover designs with a logo that doesn't feel like the brand. So she finally said yes to a rebrand. And when it came to the exercise of maybe if we have an icon for it, because she did have the sprout, I'm like, okay, let's go to the drawing board about like how a sprout starts. So I first like started like I drew a seed. So I'm like, okay, it all starts with a seed, and then that's the element that I used to play with. I'm like, what if I duplicate and put it on the side, and it's mirrored side to side, and it just feels like it blooms. So the story is like it starts with a seed, and then we bloom, right? But you don't have to like the logo, like they don't have to like. The graphic doesn't need to yell the whole story, it doesn't like have to, when it comes in the conversation, and it's really just to like, it's just a mark to identify the brand. It's beautiful when I tell the story to you and someone else, like, or maybe Heather tells the story of her logo, but we don't have to like, be very literal. Like I was not gonna put like a planner like graphic there to represent the brand. It's more about the process, of like growing and creating something intentional and inspiring for the brand. And last, I have this brand that it's fun, colorful, and inviting. I think it's definitely fun and colorful. And this brand, she sells snacks. What's really cool, her story is all about supporting snack companies by people of color, minorities, and like just minority represented businesses. The thing that I love about this brand, it's Leah and I started in corporate in the first job, And we all wanted we wanted to create something, and she loves food. So she wanted to like do a celebration of food. And this is her brand. Right now she has a brick and mortar store too in North Carolina. And something else that I give to my clients, it's something that's like beyond the brand identity, right? I've been in business for a couple years too, but also as a consumer. Leah wanted me to design a box like Sprouted Planner. Where's Sprouted Planner? Here. She wanted to design the box to send these snacks. But based on her demographic, I told her, I don't think your client is going to appreciate a box that it's all printed, that probably cannot be recycled. I'm like, why don't we just do something simple like the tape? Like, let's do a tape that can that it's eco-friendly and that feels like more aligned to her ideal client. So we went instead designed the box tape for her packaging, and then use like stickers and mailers and like postcards to help tell the whole, like, finish the experience. And that's the last thing that I want to talk about in this presentation, having the right brand design. And it really helps with the user experience. Like when you get something in the mail, Noemi does a great job with all her swag and all the things that she uses to keep you all engaged and excited with her products. Last thing that I have here, like even when you just receive the package, it's Yum Day, you get excited. Other thing that I help her with, when she started with the packaging, I got my first order, and I'm like, oh, I love the tape. But then she had like this neon like sticker from Staples that's fragile, like those pre-made labels. I'm like, no, like it's just, you want to make sure like everything has a same like look and feel. So we designed fragile stickers, on brand fragile stickers that she can use to really help like put everything together. I do have a warning on the side effects that a strong brand identity can bring to your life, which is like 2 times the leads that you are bringing in your business, 2 times the projected sales, 2 times the revenue in your business, and 2 times or more the confidence that you have in your brand. And these are not numbers that I just made up. These have actually been feedback and testimonials from my own clients. So last thing before I leave, I would like you to just give you like this framework when it comes for you to create the graphics. The first thing that you need to know is that you need to understand your audience and what are their main objectives. It's so important. Like anything that you design, separate yourself from it. Think about the audience in mind. It's for them. If you want inspiration, in Pinterest is the best. I love Pinterest. That's what I use for my clients and for myself too when I'm doing like for my house or any other things. So it's a great way to start. Also, when it comes to Pinterest, don't only search for things that just don't search for the competition, go beyond that. Maybe you find inspiration in a pillow color combination. Like, don't just go and look for the competition, look for other things that inspire to tell the story of your brand. Then when you're designing elements for your marketing, think about what brand design elements are you using it and keep it simple. Again, like define what are those brand elements, but also keep it very simple, especially non-designers. I think like they make it so hard to try to be like, oh, it needs to be overly designed. Less is more. Keep it simple. Then bring it back to the who and the what. So is it relevant to the audience? Is it legible to them? Right? Like if I'm doing like a Facebook ad, like you want to make sure like, can people really read like a whole paragraph in a Facebook ad? No. So you want to make sure like the people can actually like see that the font are legible, that it's relevant to the audience in mind, and then refine it. This is like where you probably do the graphics, go to sleep and revise them the next day. And I try to do this all the time with my clients, because sometimes it's like, okay, fresh eyes the next day, and make sure like everything resonates. So that's it from me. I would love to connect with you. You can find me at everythingcarlapames.com. or Carla Pomanes, I guess, carlapomanes.com, email Carla at carlapomanes.com. But my favorite place to hang out is Instagram, and I'm at carla.pomanes. Thank you for having me. Are there any questions? I would love to hear from you.
Has anybody specific questions that maybe you'd want to ask? This is your opportunity to do so, right? With a branding expert, right? Maybe you want to have her quickly look at the logo that you made. Go ahead and ask right now. Absolutely.
And I'm adding on the chat 2 links. If you're having trouble to find those 3 words for your brand, there I have the 50 adjectives sheet, so you can go and look for the like 50 adjectives that you can think like, oh yeah, I haven't thought about this word and this resonates with my brand. And I also have a fun quiz that tells you your brand design style, so that can also really help you, not necessarily with the words, but the style of the brand. Like, do you want your brand to feel like luxurious? Do you want it to feel like fun and colorful? Anyways, I mean, I just love quizzes, so I think you'll enjoy it. Yes, Joan.
Hi, Carla. Well, I'm in San Antonio too, so we're gonna have to
Oh,
connect.
yes.
Yes. And you have to help me convince Naomi to come and visit us, since I know she knows more people in San Antonio now.
Me? Yes, please.
Carolyn, we're due a meetup. I think we've met at least once a year at some kind of event, and I haven't seen that woman in a while, and I love Carla very much. So I don't know.
Yes. Your next one has to be a stop in San Antonio. No.
I would love that. Yes, I'm writing your name, Joan. So yes. I mean, I passed by Durango and I took photos and I didn't send it to you of the scorpions.
So my husband and her, they're paisanos. My husband's from Durango, she's from Durango. So it's like we connect and I'm like, ay, anda tu paisa in Mexico. And it's funny you say Mazatlan because that's actually a place where my husband has very beautiful memories and he always talks about Mazatlan too. And I'm like, Carla's in Mazatlan. He's like, I'm so jealous.
Yes. So I think let's plan first San Antonio and then Mazatlan.
And then Mazatlan.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
You also, Patricia, from Durango. I love that. I'm from Gomez Palacio, Durango. No, Durango, but I passed by Durango, to come to Mazatlan. I love that, John. Yes, definitely. Let's keep in touch, and then.
I know. Oh yeah, Carla, question.
Yes.
So this branding thing for all of us who are starting is like, right? Where do you start, Mamas? Like, where's a good place? Do you think about the logo first? Do you think about the color palette first that you want to use in branding? Like, what's a good place to start?
The best place to start is not with design. The thing you start, it's with, I gotta share something with you, because I created also a product that guides you how to do it yourself. And it's called the Brand Design DIY Lab. But we don't start with design at all. We start first defining the audience, defining all these things that like do the quiz, look at the adjectives, have all this research done on your brand before you even start designing. Because the thing, I mean, that will make my job really hard if I don't have that research, if I don't have what like the meaning of a brand, like what are they stand for, like starting from scratch with a blank board for me, it's like so hard. Like it's like there's no direction. So when you have all that defined, then you go to the design psychology that I taught you. Okay, now like, okay, I want my brand to look and feel this way. What font feels what feels the best font? Well, probably a serif font or sans serif font. So then you have a little bit narrowed down the things, like the same for colors, right? Like, okay, now that you know how you want your brand to be perceived as, you decide on colors. Go to Pinterest, and then you look like for, you look for color palette, maybe blue color palette, and then like, oh, you'll see like the different shades of color palettes that can help you with your brand. So you start doing the research mostly based on how you want your brand to be perceived as, who's your target audience. Like if I'm designing for like a bookkeeping business, like are you doing specifically like for a specific, like for lawyers, right? Like if you want to do bookkeeping for lawyers, you want to make sure those colors attract to lawyers. If you're doing like, I actually just finished a brand identity for a bookkeeper, but she worked with interior designers. So she wanted her bookkeeping business to have the look and feel of like that would attract interior designers. So it's beautifully designed, like Art Deco design. That was a really cool brand to design. So that's where you start. And also, you know, the research through Pinterest, it's gonna help you narrow things down. And then also Canva, if you don't, if you like, you want to like have a software that's gonna be like friendly, user friendly, Canva, it's a great tool. You know, you can always upgrade to the pro version if you want more bells and whistles. But give me a second, Monday. Sorry, they came back from breakfast. Oh, here it is. So did I help?
Yeah, definitely, Carla. That gives us a starting point, right? Because I know for myself, um, I've switched my Facebook and my Canva and my color scheme like 20 times,
So
right?
that
Because of that, because I was worried about design. So maybe, you know, I need to really focus and regroup as to who I want to attract.
yes.
So
So
thank
that
you for sharing that. That actually helps.
a good brand identity should last you for 5 years or more. So, you know, make that decision, stick to it, and don't deviate from it. Like, just stay with it and stay consistent. This is really gonna help with the brand recognition. If you keep changing your brand all the time, people will be like, oh, is that her brand? Is she starting a business? Like, what's going on? Like, you know, you want to be like consistent with your brand. Like Target does and Starbucks do. They do such a great job of keeping consistency in their brand. Like, like if I see all of a sudden like a very like beautiful photographer, like, well, like, yeah, photography or like people like with red and the circles, I know it's Target. Like it doesn't have to have the logo, it doesn't have to say the name, the words Target. I know it's Target because they do such a great job to keep everything consistent with that. Also, I mean, Target's such an easy thing to um example, right? But let's be honest, they have millions of dollars for their marketing. But what we can do is like, you know, keep it very simple and consistent within our brands.
Thank you very much, dear. It was a very good class we enjoyed. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us in your Mazatlan trip.
Yes. Who sorry, who was speaking? I I lost it. Who?
It was me, Joanne.
Oh, John. Okay, yes. Of course, John. Yes. And
Thank you, Carla.
I'll write your name. I'm gonna I'll connect with you so we can go for not virtual coffee, in coffee in real life. I get back.
A lot of bliss.
Mhm,
Thank you.
of course. Someone else? Any other questions?
Any other questions, mamas? I think this is really great, Carla, of just sharing like that starting point, because today we did really cover about that social media part. And I think a big part that holds us, because I remember that was something that was with me before I met you and discovered you, was like, you know, how do I put myself out there if I don't have like a branding, right? And the moment I knew that I had this part together, at least a color scheme or like a font scheme, and when I did that investment with you in that time, like it like just made even posting social media so much more easier, right? So it's like now, for example, even just for me creating, let's say, a presentation for topics like today and stuff like that, what always stops me, like I cannot start writing out my ideas if I don't have my branding colors and my fonts in place first, you know? So like once I have those two things in place in my slides, like it's so much easier for me to just drop my content in there, because if not, that's always bothering me, you know? So I like that you talk about that.
Otherwise it's harder to have everything, and then you want to add the design. If you
Yeah.
have the design and use it as a template, it's just gonna make things way easier. Yeah, and I love looking at your slides because they're so on brand.
I try, like even my Google thing is like so on brand. It's so funny because
I've
it's
seen
like,
it.
yeah, you've seen it, right? Here, let me share with you girls. Like when you do the Google search, this one right here, like this is my, like I keep everything on color and but then let me show you girls something really quick that would be a nice tool, and it's an extension which is this one right here. It's called a color pick eyedropper. So like, let's say you design the colors with, like, for example, whatever it is that you choose, you can always use this and like just kind of like drop, let's say I want to see the color, I don't know, here, let me go here in yours, because I was looking at your stuff. So I want to see what color this blue is, right? So like when you go here, you grab it from here and like you can copy this and put it in your Canva and use this blue. Or always put, that's like the code number to the color that you're using. And that's how I can update a lot of my stuff for on branding, because I have those colors already saved, and it's so much easier to drop them. And in Canva, I think what makes it really interesting is that you can save those branding colors. That way, yeah, when you look at all of my content is my color scheme. So like when I'm creating, let's say something new, I don't know, I'm just gonna go here real quick, like an Instagram post, and you want to use your color schemes, like you're not, oh, well, what color should I use? Should I use this? Like, no, just use what your on brand stuff is already, because that's what your brand colors are. So like I already have them here and I just play around with them instead of trying to figure out what color I want to use. It just, I think, really simplifies any content creating, any post that you want to put together, stuff like that.
Yeah, I love, that's what the thing I love about Canva, the Canva kit. You know, once you have your logos, your colors, you put it in your Canva kit. And that's another cool thing, is like, maybe you see a template, I'm like, maybe that might work. You can apply the Canva kit to the template and poof, all of a sudden it's like on brand. You might have to tweak one thing here and there, but keep it simple, really. Like, simplicity is going to win, because it's just going to make everything feel like, that's what really helps create something to feel timeless. So something overly designed can just date itself very easily. Noemi does a great job with her brand, and keeping on brand and consistent, but also simple.
Yeah. Awesome. Anyone else? Any questions? Anything you guys want to ask Carla about the branding part of it? Speak now or forever hold your truth.
Or you can also DM me if you have any questions. Instagram, I'm there all the time. I have very spotty internet while I'm Mazatlan, but I'll respond as soon as I can. But thank you, Noemi, for having me here. It was great. It's great meeting all of you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day learning from the best. Noemi, you inspire me so much, and I think, like, if anything I've learned, it's that the importance of keep learning from those ahead of us. And Nami is one of those persons in my list.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Carla. I know you're just buttering me up so I can go to Texas.
Yes. No, it's not, I'm not bragging you. It's level up.
I know. You're so sweet. I know. Thank you so much. And thank you all, ladies, as well, for, great questions. And I hope this kind of helps you all just kind of have a starting point if content creation or the branding part or coloring part is something that has you stuck, because as business owners, in the beginning, right, we are the ones doing all of that. Sometimes if, like, again, we're always going to pay with time or with money, right? Which one do you have? And if you have time, then you invest in, creating these things for you. But if you have the money and you need something quicker, guess what? Hire Carla so she can do it for you. Because that's what she does, right? And connect with her if that's something that you're like, you know what? Like, to me, the design work, like, I'm not a designer. I cannot. The reason why I can do things right now is because Carla has provided me with Mom Account so much colors and like starting that just makes it easier for me to design other stuff. But I swear, if I didn't have that branding kit and what Carla put together for me with the logo and fonts, I would be blanking out every single week. And I would be like, I do not know what I need to be talking about or posting. And I know, actually, Carla, you've done Dorley's rebranding, right? So she's done a couple of the mamas here in our community who's done the branding for them. So connect with Carla. She does a beautiful job. I mean, I think, to me, like, how cool is it that your job is to design stuff? And I think that's so cool, because I could never be like that designer on the computer.
We all, just like Remy said, it's either time or money, but there's also like an in between, like, I can teach you how to do it yourself too. And that's what the product it's all about. I'll teach you how to do it in Canva. But yeah, some people are just ready for it, like Dorley was, and she's like, I think she has reached out also to help with implementing on the website too. So it's like, maybe one thing at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, and if any questions come later in the day, next week, anytime, feel free to reach out to me.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Carla, again. All right, ladies. So what we're going to do, we're going to go into our lunch break now. So let's do about 20 minutes. I think 15 minutes. I felt really rushed when we ate the first day. Bye, Carla. Keep enjoying the beach.
Bye. Thank you.
And let's come back here around 1:20. So go have some food, take a break, use the potty. Oh my God, every time I say potty, I think about my kids. And we will come back around 1:20, 1:22. It's 1:02, so let's do 1:22. All right. See you in a bit, ladies. I'm still eating I was eating a cucumber. I had so many people bring me cucumbers over the weekend. I have a whole bag full of fresh cucumbers from people's gardens. Oh, welcome back. Welcome back.
My son likes to eat a cucumber and mayonnaise sandwich.
That's actually very good. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants his cucumbers sliced and then mayonnaise on the bread and then cucumbers, and he eats it. He loves it. His favorite.
I started to do that. I'll put a piece of ham on it too, though. But like just I've had just the cucumber with the it's actually very good. So I agree.
I'm just having some ceviche with cucumber too.
Ooh,
Cucumber is just a thing.
Ceviche is good. Super duper good.
I'm asking ChatGPT what words describe my brand and to give me colors that go with those words.
Ooh, interesting. What did it give you?
Well, it gave me 5 and I'm like, okay, give me 10 more. That's what I do. And then it's like, give me 10 more. So far I have savvy, trustworthy, and efficient.
Mm-hmm.
And so for savvy, it says teal and navy blue, which I don't use those right now. And then trustworthy, it says royal blue and green, which I do use green. And then efficient, bright green, and gray. So
Interesting. Yeah. I can see those colors being used with you for sure. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so what I want to do is we're going to work off of the workbook where it talked about the pillars. Okay, so we're going to do groups. So we're going to send into our little breakout sessions, and based off of the pillars that I shared with you. Once again, here, let me share them one more time. Hold on, where is my slide? I want you girls to come up using also ChatGPT, right? Use it to your advantage in being able to come up with, let's say, let's just like 1 week, okay? I don't want you to even go the whole month or anything like that. But using ChatGPT, what are the maybe 5 content things that you can do under those pillars, which remember, Monday is Motivational Monday. Tuesday will be a Tip Tuesday. Wednesday would be something that shares about your life or your business, right? This can be something that is happening in your life or in your business. Sorry, I went a little bit too much. Thursday, live training. Now, on the live training part, I want you to think about topics that you can incorporate, and then Fun Friday posts. Okay. If you get stuck on what Fun Friday posts are, look at Pinterest. And if you go into Pinterest, there's so many fun ideas, or again, use ChatGPT mamas, right, to help you create these pillars. So here, when you go, I need to log in for all this, but these are the pillars that you want to work on. Let's say for next week, Monday through Friday. Okay. What are you going to talk about on Motivational Monday, Tip Tuesday, Wednesday, which is going to be like a life business. This can be like something that, again, can be inspirational to your life in collaboration with your business, or you can just share something about, something fun that's happening in your life that you would like people to know about. Your training topics, what would you be talking about, and a Fun Friday post. Okay. So we are going to move into breakout rooms. We'll have about 10 minutes to work on that. And we'll be back in a little bit. Might I know you're driving, so you might not be able to get into the Zoom room, but Janie, did you get assigned to your room yet?
Not yet.
Okay, let me assign you.
Oh, now I did.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, that went by really fast. I know it did. It's like, I know I'm going to give you girls enough time for it. And it's like, to me, it feels like it's enough time, but I know it goes by really fast. But anyways, ladies, we'll have more time to work on these things actually tomorrow too. Tomorrow will also be very like workshopy to kind of work on things together, especially with all the things we've been learning this week. But we want to get into our next speaker for the day because she's here already. And this is my friend Elise. Oh my gosh, we've also connected from the Free Mama community. And honestly, I think every year we get to go and travel to awesome places. Like we were at the cruise this year. How fun was that, Elise?
Oh my gosh,
So
we had a blast. Yeah.
And I'm so
fun.
excited to bring Elise here to also pour into all of you ladies, especially tying in everything we have learned. Tuesday and Wednesday, really focusing on the skill sets portion of it and really developing that part, running it, going into today with, okay, that social media presence, that how we work in the business, right? To make sure we have this exposure and how we are going to be making money, which is now what Elise is going to cover for us. So Elise, I will let you take the mic.
Thanks. Thank you all so much for having me and allowing me to come and share this stuff with you. We're going to talk today about creating not just like a 5K month, because you know that stuff is out there over in the online space, over in social media land. But for me, more so, it is about creating consistent income. I need consistency in my income. Like my family depends on me. I can't just like not make money one month. I need consistent income that essentially functions the same way that like a regular paycheck did in my 9-to-5 job. And so if that resonates with you, drop a 1 over in the comments. I am definitely going to be asking for your participation and like engagement with me. So like definitely make sure that you're engaging with me, because I wanna like get to know you and hear what you guys are thinking and what's resonating with you. So we want to make consistent income. That is a big deal. And one of the things that became really apparent to me, and I'll share some of this with you, is for me, it wasn't just like consistent income, and it wasn't just like $1,000. I needed to be making consistent 5K months to like meet the bottom line for supporting my family and being able to run my business. And I found as I was trying to build this business that I was doing it in the hardest way possible. I was trying to create consistent income, and like with all of the noise, and it's even noisier now than it was when I started, building consistent income in your business, getting to 5K months and beyond felt like this huge uphill battle. And yet, when everybody talks about it, and I mean, like all the gurus and everybody, when they talk about a 5K month, they're talking about it in like beginner's terms. And I am here to sit here and tell you and to argue on our behalf that like 5K is actually not a newbie amount of money to be making in your business, especially when you're doing it on a consistent basis. Also, the other piece of me was like, if I'm going to quit my day job, I do not want to be sitting behind a desk 40 plus hours every single week. The amount of time and energy that I have to dedicate to my business is about 20 hours a week. And that's what I want to do because I actually want to live my life. That's part of the reason why I started my business. But also, after working with a lot of like not great clients, I really just wanted to be working with my dream clients. And so, after much trial and tribulation, which I will share with you all, we moved away from doing anything and everything for people. Anyone who was willing to pay me, doing anything they were willing to tell me, because that was not making things simple for me. That was making things really, really difficult. And so I needed to get down to the simple way, the simplest way to be making this consistent income so that I was only working 20 hours a week and I was working with dream clients that I wanted to be working with and I was in my zone of genius. Drop a yes in the comments if that feels like what you are also struggling for. What do you want from this business? Because you can go and attend and get all of the learning skills that are needed to do all kinds of things. There is no like lack of education online anymore, especially to like go and learn how to do a specific skill. And yet, just because you have the skills doesn't mean these things just fall into play. All right. So a little bit about me, and we'll dive into like what we're going to talk about today. On a personal, hi, my name is Elise Polson, and I am the founder of the Sustainable Business Collective. Super duper passionate about helping done-for-you service providers like bookkeepers, like anyone who does one-on-one services for clients, helping them create consistent income while only working part-time hours. Because quite honestly, the people that I work with are moms and have lives and families and all of these other responsibilities that fall in place, not to mention like gotta take care of ourselves, right? And so I wanted to show you that there is a simpler way to be creating this consistent income, and it doesn't involve creating digital products. It doesn't involve having to become a coach. It doesn't involve starting an agency. Not that there is anything wrong with any of those things. Those absolutely are avenues and ways to build a business. What I found though is that as a one-to-one service provider, a done-for-you service provider, it almost felt like you couldn't make that the number one thing that you were doing in order to create consistent income. And it took me a really long time to figure out how to do that for my business. And then when I did, I was like, I have to tell everybody, like I have to share this with people because quite honestly, we're just making it more difficult for ourselves. And so that is where I landed in this coaching space. Now, outside of coaching, prior to being a virtual assistant, I started my virtual assistant business back in May of 2018. Before that, I was a teacher and an educator, and then worked as a school administrator at the very end of my career. And I loved doing that. And then I started having kids, and I realized that I loved my kids more than I loved my job. And I wanted to spend more time with them. And I was no longer willing to drive 3 hours every single day to go to my job. And so I needed to do something different. And so I started my own business. And I have loved and hated this whole journey. Like the love-hate relationship. There's a lot that comes and goes, and there's a lot of struggle that you have to go through. And my job is to help my clients and anyone that I talk to help create less struggle for you. So what we're doing in this conversation today is we're going to talk about what it actually takes to hit consistent income. And we are going to talk about the simple framework, the framework that I have put together that's going to get your business to consistent 5K moves without needing to add anything new. If you want to join the Tax Academy, I think that is brilliant and amazing. It's aiding what you're already doing. It's not going out and starting, you know, putting digital products together. It's not starting an agency. It's building on the things that you're already doing that are going to help in that consistency. It's simple. And then the last piece is really focus on landing your next dream client and then doing it on repeat. Because that's the thing that's going to build that consistent income for ourselves. Give me a thumbs up or a 1 over in the comments if you have ever gained a client and then like next month lost another client. That's like super frustrating, right? You're trying to build up this momentum and then you start losing clients as well. Same, been there, done that. So the thing that we need to focus on now is there's this shift that has to happen. And it's not just in what you're doing, the action that you're taking, but it's also in the frame of mind that you are bringing to the table. And it's this idea that you can't get to where you're going doing what got you here. So yes, you've landed bookkeeping clients before. We need that confirmation. Our brain needs that confirmation that it is possible. And quite possibly, quite honestly, you're going to have to make some changes in some of the things that you've been doing to get to this point, to be able to simplify things. I don't know about you, but like life is already complicated. Like there's a lot going on. I want my business to be simple and predictable and sustainable. I want it to be the part of my life that's like, yes, I get to wake up every morning and do this thing for people that I actually care about while all of the craziness is going on in the world and in my life. And I will also tell you on a very personal level that if you have a business that is simple and predictable and sustainable, when life happens, your business is not going to fall apart. And that is something that I want for every single mom, especially out there, but like every single woman, every single person who is running their own business. At the end of the day, we want to have a business that continues to keep running even when life is happening. Okay. So here we go. Here's my timeline. Here's what we got going on. I started my business. It was May of 2018. I had a beautiful, I think she was like 2-month-old baby girl. And I had an almost 2-year-old son. And I was on maternity leave and just like basking in the glow. I live in Colorado. And so like that spring in particular had just been like so beautiful and wonderful, on the precipice of having to go back to my job. And like I told you guys, like I loved my job. I was good at my job. I was very good at my job. And yet I was like, I don't want to go. But like I had no clue that there were other things that I could do working from home. Because remember, this is before the pandemic. This is before the world fell apart and everybody had to work from home. And so at this point in May of 2018, like the idea of working from home was totally this thing that like nobody was talking about. And so I came across this webinar, watched the webinar. I signed up for the course. There was a huge skill deficit. Like I had no idea what I was doing. Never even thought about starting a business. That was not on my like list of things to do. But the lifestyle, the idea of being able to work from home, I'm an introvert, y'all. Like I love my alone time. Love the idea of not having to get in the car and commute every single day. Love the idea of like getting to work for myself and be in charge of how much money I was making, and where it was coming from, and who I was working with. Loved all of those things. But that, you guys, I'm an introvert. And I also started my job in education. And so like the idea of networking doesn't really exist in education. Like they never talk about that. That was not part of my schooling. And so when my mentor was like, hey, you need to go out there and network and like talk to people about what you're doing, I was not very good at it. I'm not at all. Like I was terrible. And so it took me until December of 2018 to land my very first client. And I was making $150 a month. I was pumped, had a client, and also looking at this giant mountain I had to climb in order to be making enough money to quit my job. Like that mountain felt so huge. But I had done the thing. And therefore I had my brain had the proof that it needed that I could do this again and that I could keep landing clients and that I was actually good at that. So if you have not landed your first bookkeeping client, go do that as soon as you possibly can, because it is the proof that you need in order to keep landing bookkeeping clients. But you guys, even though I landed my first client, I still was making a lot of mistakes, and it took me a long time to start to see momentum in my business. It took me another 6 months to start to see momentum, to finally start gaining more clients than the first client I had. But I did it because I kept talking about what I was doing, and I started getting out of my own way. And I was willing to say yes to things and try things out and like figure out what it was exactly that I wanted to do. And so hopefully you all who are on this call, who are listening to this conversation, hopefully you're at about the point where I was, where I finally started seeing some momentum. You've worked with clients before. You've done the bookkeeping thing. You know that this is a thing that you want to keep doing, because that is one of the biggest hurdles to cross when you start your own business. But then this thing happened. I was saying yes too much. And I was saying yes to everybody. Because like, again, I had an income goal, needed to get there, willing to do a lot of things to get to that income goal. And I ended up losing 2/3 of my clients in a matter of a month. I had a lot of stuff that I had to figure out, including, did I want to keep doing this? So it's 2019, December of 2019. We're about to come into the precipice of a freaking pandemic, which none of us had any idea was coming, but it was coming. And yet, through all of that, through the next 6 months, I made enough shifts and changes that I was able to become fully booked out and create a consistent income in my business, which was really exciting and really fun. And then I was like, you know what? I see a lot of people doing what I was doing from May of 2018 all the way to December of 2019. And it doesn't work. It's a great starting point. It's a great place to like get your stuff going. You need that proof that like you can do the thing. But once we know how to do the thing, now we got to do something different. Okay. So here are some of the top mistakes that I was making. We're gonna number these, and I want you to tell me which one resonates with you the most. Like which one of these things you feel like is one of the things keeping you stuck. I was collecting clients. I was not vetting them. The only way that I was vetting clients is they were raising their hand and saying they needed help, and I was like, cool, I can help you. Number 2, I was not owning my niche. I was telling people I did one thing, and I was willing to do just about anything else. And so for you, that might look like you telling people that you're a bookkeeper, but like really you're also doing a whole bunch of like general admin stuff and maybe social media and like all of these other things that people are telling you they need help with. The third thing that I was doing, I was taking on a bunch of small contracts. I can tell you something that I know. I've had a handful of bookkeepers come through my group coaching that I've worked with over the last 4 years. And here's what I will tell you. Bookkeepers as a whole, you undervalue the amount of value that you bring to the table to your coaching client or to your bookkeeping clients. You do not charge enough money for the stuff that you do. So I was taking on a bunch of small contracts and that was taking up a bunch of my time. And then the last piece, number 4, I had no client management system. No joke. When I lost 2/3 of my clients, I was working with 9 or 10 clients because I don't even know what the number is. And I lost 2/3 of them. And like, I would have to sit and like count who my clients were because I was not managing them well. There was not a great client experience behind it. And so like, why would people want to keep me on board? Which of these things do you feel like you are doing right now? Are you just collecting clients? Anybody who's like, hey, I need some help, you're raising your hand and signing my client. Are you doing a bunch of other things for your clients besides bookkeeping? Because somewhere inside you told yourself this story that like bookkeeping is not that valuable. Do you need to raise your rates? One of my favorite clients that I've ever worked with, she is a bookkeeper. And when she started my group coaching program, she was like, I need to bring on like some more clients. I'm not really gaining a lot of traction. And so we talked about it, and like she was only charging a couple $100 for her monthly bookkeeping. And so we raised her rates, and her like bottom line in order to work with her was $500 a month. And if you're sitting there and you're like, nobody is going to pay $500 a month for bookkeeping, she gained a new client for the next 6 months, every single month. Every single month. And like clients she actually wanted to work with. And because she's an expert in what she does, like it didn't take her all that long. The number one thing I had to ask myself is, did I want to keep doing this business thing when I lost 2/3 of my clients? And honestly, I was ready to be done, but I wasn't really ready to be done building my own business. I was ready to be done doing the things that I've been doing. I was done with the way that I had been running my business. And so I needed to make some changes. So what exactly changed? Because I made this huge improvement in 6 months. I was able to do something that I hadn't been able to do in the previous 18 months. Like what changed? You want to be an expert in what you do. It comes down to intentionality. It comes down to not saying yes to all the people and all the things all the time. You have to be really intentional about you, about yourself, about your business. If you are ready to raise your hand and say like, yes, I am a bookkeeper and I bring value to my clients. It's not just about doing their books every single month. Being a bookkeeper is so much more than that. There is so much more value that you are bringing to the table. And you have to know that in order to communicate that with your potential clients. I needed to become more intentional about who I was willing to work with. I needed to be really intentional about my pricing. For me, that was like having a minimum amount of money that people needed to hit in order for me to take them on as a client. I needed to be more intentional about how I was connecting with people. And I had to be more intentional about my boundaries. The stuff is fairly simple, yes? but that doesn't mean it's not hard. Holding your boundaries when people are pushing your boundaries is so freaking hard. Not saying yes to somebody who's willing to like hand over their credit card and pay you money is so hard. It really comes down to thinking about the long term of where you want to be and not just saying yes to all of the short term. That is how we get to the point where we're building consistent income. I had two choices. I could either keep doing all the things that I'd been doing that got me to where I was, on the surface, not terrible, willing to do it, or I could figure out what wasn't working and I could make changes. And I decided to make changes. Because even though, like, it kind of worked, I had clients, they were paying me money. I also lost a bunch of them because I wasn't treating them well, because they were just a number on my spreadsheet and vice versa. You don't want that. You want to be a valuable team member. And I know sometimes it can feel like, especially as a bookkeeper, that like you don't feel like a team member, but I can promise you, you have a lot of value that you are bringing to your clients beyond just like managing their books. Cool, awesome. Go deeper. What does that do for them? What does that allow them to do in their business? I want you to take a quick minute and do a quick reflection. What do you think is keeping you from reaching consistent 5K months? And if 5K is not your goal, if your goal is 1 or 2K months, cool. Why haven't you reached that yet? And if you're willing to share, I would love to hear why you haven't reached those income months yet. Jill said she's working too much in my business and not on my business. Lack of networking, lack of putting myself out there to get more clients. Jane said not looking in the right places. You guys know the reasons, know why. And if you don't know why yet, like feel free to send me a message after this and we can work through it. I'd love to help you figure it out. Because until you know why you're not getting there, it's really, really difficult to make the changes you need to make in order to get there. And on a completely like tangent side, you have to know why you have the goals that you have. If you are just making goals, if you just have a goal of hitting 5K months because you saw somewhere on somebody's thing that like 5K sounded cool, like, okay. But if you don't know why you want that, then it's not going to matter. Patricia said fear to let go of control by hiring help. Yeah. Fella, I'm a control freak. I love being in control as much as humanly possible. It's really, really difficult to relinquish some of that. Okay. If you don't want to stay here in this place that you're in, if you have goals and you want to go somewhere else, then you have to be willing to do something else. Can't keep doing the same thing. And sometimes doing the same things means that you need to change the fact that you're not doing anything. So like Jill mentioned that she's not networking, she's not putting herself out there. to doing something different is to like actually go do the thing. Okay. And so if you want to be creating consistent income in your business, you're good, Jill. Struggle bus. Like also really struggle with networking. So I'm doing a whole thing with my group coaching students because as a whole, like it is a thing. It's really hard to stay consistent with that sort of stuff. We're doing a 75 hard business edition challenge. And so like I am doing it with them because I also like we have to be willing to do the thing and then we actually have to go do it. And so it's hard. It's simple. We know the thing, but it's hard to get there. And it's okay to admit that. And then it's okay to admit that we can do hard things. Just because it's not easy doesn't mean you can't do it. Okay. So if you want to be creating consistent income in your business and you want to do it without building a whole bunch of new stuff, without needing to create digital products or start an agency or become a coach or put a course together, like if you want to just keep doing the thing that you're doing, which is serving people, and I think it's beautiful, and quite frankly, if you ask me, is the easiest way to make money online is by continuing to serve people one-on-one. Hot take is through this simple framework. This is the way that you get to consistent income. You have to set the goal and set yourself up for success. I was just talking to a client, a coaching client of mine, and she was saying, she was like, I would love to bring on 4 clients, but honestly, I don't even know that that's possible right now. And it's like, well, then that's not the goal. We have to know that like we're setting ourselves up for success. And then you got to make sure you choose your ideal client. And bookkeeping is one of those places where the who is less important than like where they're at in their business. You don't need to be bookkeepers for like real estate agents. You don't need to be bookkeepers for accountants or, you know, pick an industry. It doesn't have to be that. As a bookkeeper, it really is about like where they're at in their business, how many transactions they are seeing day in and day out. That is the thing that I would look at for you to figure out who that ideal client is. And then you got to own it. You have to be able to like not just bring on anyone who's like, yeah, I need some help. So hard. And yet your business will be so much more successful in the long run because you're not, everybody you say yes to is a no to somebody else. And if that no is to an actual ideal and dreamy client, like that is heartbreaking. We want our yeses to be to the people that we care about, to the people we actually want to work with. And so we're going to hold those really, really, really close to our hearts. And then I want you to go talk to your ideal clients and do some market research and figure out why bookkeeping is so incredibly important to them. I would start honestly with current clients that you're looking at and you're like, I want 100 of you. So Jill asked, can you explain the no-brainer packages? Here's the thing about no-brainer packages. No-brainer packages means that like when they see your packages, they're like, of course, it's a no-brainer. I want to work with you. And you can't really get to the no-brainer packages until you understand why they need you. So the market research piece is crucial. It's the linchpin in this entire framework. You have to have that market research. You have to fully understand and know deeply why your ideal clients need you. And not just like want you. You're not a nice to have thing. You are a must have thing. And once you understand that, then you translate it into your packages. Your packages include the things and explanation as to why this thing that you do is so crucial to their business. Your packages can include the things that most bookkeepers do, you know, like we're reconciling transactions every single month. We're, you know, I'm not well versed in the bookkeeping field. Again, I've had a handful of bookkeeping coaching clients. But like the things that y'all do and that you pass on to your client, what else would be beneficial to your client to know? Can you do an analysis with them every single month? Sit down for 30 minutes and take a look at all of the expenses and bring to them other options that maybe save them some more money. How are you proving to them that this can be a yes? And so Jill said, potential clients, the biggest note is pricing. And to me, that says that you are not translating it in a way that makes them say, holy crap, I can't live without this. What about working with you is going to give them the biggest ROI on their end? And it doesn't have to be money. It can be so much more than that. Your packages are not about you. Your packages are about them and what they need to do in their business and how much better their lives will be when they work with you. You are a solution to a problem that they have. And again, it's not about the bookkeeping. I mean, you guys are bookkeepers, it's about bookkeeping, but like, what else do they actually want? Okay. And then this is the big piece. This is the thing that all of us is like, we got to keep working. We got to keep doing the thing. This is the thing that we got to do on an ongoing basis. It's the legwork. It's the networking. It's creating authority. It's building content. It's all of those pieces that we have to continue doing. You have to show up and you have to be visible. The market research is going to help with all of that legwork stuff. And then the last piece is to make sure that you have this really excellent client experience. This is the thing that keeps people in your sphere. This is the thing that makes those retainer clients consistent. They don't want to leave you. Could they find a cheaper bookkeeper? Like, sure, but like, I can also find cheaper leggings, but I'm not going to Walmart to find leggings. I want my butt to look good.
Okay.
What does this allow you to do? So I love that you did it with pizza and so like I just got new leggings yesterday for my birthday, and so like leggings are on my mind. So with the simple framework, what does it allow you to do? This is the thing that allows you to become the go-to expert, which is the reason why people are opting in. They're not looking at the price point anymore. They're looking at you and going like, shoot, I have to hire Jill. Like, of course I could go find another bookkeeper. Like, of course there's other bookkeepers, but like, I have to hire Jill because she's so good at what she does. Because the thing that makes you so good at what you do is doing it. But like, also think about the reason why you reached out to Noemi. Like, Noemi talks about the things that she's doing all the time. Does she know a whole lot more than like other people who do the same thing? Not necessarily, but she talks about it. And so people are like, I mean, of course I'm going to work with Noemi. It's also the thing that allows you to work 20 hours a week because we've made things simple. We've made them streamlined. We've made them predictable. And one of the biggest pushbacks I always get is like, what if I don't want my business to be predictable? Like, I want it to like, what if I get bored? And honestly, I want my business to be the most boring and predictable part of my life because I want the exciting things to come with like my family and all the other things I get to do. I want this to be like real predictable. It also is like predictable with joy because I enjoy the thing that I'm doing. It also allows you to better solve their deep problems and therefore charge more money. You want to charge more money, you have to know why you're valuable and what you are doing differently than somebody else who's doing the same thing. What is your secret sauce? What is the thing that makes you different? Okay. And so if you don't simplify your business, ultimately what ends up happening is you become overworked. You can't charge more money because you don't really know what you're charging for other than like the deliverables. And then it's just an exchange of time and money. And it's really, really hard to charge more money for something if the only thing that we're doing is looking at how much time it takes you to do the tasks. And that's quite honestly going to be the first thing that a potential client says to you, like, these things don't take me very long. Why does it cost so much money to work with you? You have to be able to answer that question. If you don't know the answer to that, you need to talk to some people who've hired bookkeepers because they know the answer to that question. Saves you from spending more energy on your business than you actually want to be spending on it. I have 3 very beautiful children. I want to spend lots of time with them. They're very fun. It ultimately leads to hating your business, and it can lead to burnout. And burnout, quite honestly, is the #1 reason why I've seen people quit their businesses. I've been doing this for over 6 years, and the number of people that I know who have thrown in the towel on their business it's so long. It can be really hard to juggle things. So like, let's make things simple. Okay. You also need to make sure you map it out. How many clients are you working with right now? How much time and energy do you have available? How many more clients do you need to take on in order to reach your income goals? They're necessary, like, you need to know. Look how cute these kids are. Dang, so cute. Oh, that's my husband. So once you've done that like first step, you know what your goal is, you know who the ideal client is and what it is they really want. You've done the market research piece too. You have to start positioning yourself as the solution to their problem. Again, it's about them. It's not about you. You're not coming to people and saying like, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. Like, these are the services I offer. Instead, you're coming to them and saying like, hey, do you know how much money you made last month? Like the actual number. Do you know how much money your business brought in? Do you know how much money you're spending on things like subscriptions and stuff? What if more of that money went in your pocket? That's what I can help you do. Those are their problems. Their problem is not that they are spending an hour or 2 trying to reconcile their stuff. I mean, that's not super fun. I don't like look forward to reconciling my expenses and stuff in my bank account, but like, I'll do it. But if somebody was coming to me and they were like, I can help you make more money without you having to like actually take on any more clients, my ears would perk up so fast. How are you going to make me make more money? Okay. Landing dream clients, you gotta make sure you know who they are and what their defining factors are. Again, we talked about for bookkeepers, it's not so much like an industry, it's a place that they're at in their business. What does that look like? And I would start with the clients you currently have or have worked with in the past. Like, which ones of those do you want to replicate? And if you're like, Elise, I don't want to replicate any of them, cool. They go in the like not dream client category. There are all the things about these clients that I don't like. And then their opposite is the things that you are looking for. Does that make sense? And then you're going to make sure you have an offer that really focuses on their big problems. And again, the best way to find that out is by doing market research, by talking to them, figuring out like what it is they're actually looking to do with their business. And then you get to be the one that translates into like what you're doing. And then that last piece is to create a networking plan and actually do the networking plan. And if you're struggling with the networking piece, more than likely, it's because your networking plan is really vague. It's not defined. You're continuing to tell yourself you're going to network, but it's not anywhere on your calendar. You know it needs to get done, but like, I got other stuff I need to do. Okay. Some things to note. Your networking plan should include ways to create new connections with people. I really love Instagram. I think it's a super fun way to connect with people. You can watch their stories and like respond to their stories. And that's a really easy way to like start a one-on-one conversation. Super easy. You also want to make sure that you're like planning to follow up with people, because that's where you build connections. That's where the potential clients come from. If you're like, Elise, I don't want to DM somebody that feels super salesy and slimy. Well, yeah, probably because you're asking for the sale in the very first conversation you're having with them, versus like even vetting them, even figuring out if they're somebody that you actually work with. You get to be picky too. And it's always really nice if you have something that you can offer them that shows off what you can do. And so for bookkeepers, that can be a little confusing, because it's like, I mean, you can't really do an audit, like you can't do a review of how they're reconciling their stuff. But what you can do is say like, you know, here are a few recommendations that I have. Here are some of the top expenses that people are spending in their business. Do these resonate with you? Here are a couple alternatives that are not as expensive. You might have to do a little bit of that. Okay. So take a minute. Stellar on time, friends. Take a minute. What is your next step? What is the thing you have to do? I've thrown a lot at you. Yeah, a financial analysis. Holy cow. I don't know that I would necessarily do that for free, but like you could do that for a fairly low cost. I don't know what Anna went into, but like take that information and run with it. Have that be one of your defining factors. If you give before you ever ask of somebody, they're so much closer to a yes than if you're just like, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. Do you need one? I want you to figure out what your next step is. One thing you're going to do. Okay. The main goal is to be making consistent 5K months and beyond, if that's your goal. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, like you have to know why that's important to you. Or just a few of the reasons why my clients have said this is important to them. This is one of the reasons why it's important to me too. And as moms, here's one of the things. We're really great at having our why be something outside of ourselves. That's great. That's wonderful. Like most giving and caring humans in the whole world, we care about other people intuitively. We have to. Like you have tiny humans, like the 3 that are on the screen. You've got to take care of those humans, right? And where are you in the picture? Because I don't know about you, but I'm willing to do a lot of things to make their dreams possible. But it's taken me a lot to realize that I am not inherently willing to do the same for myself. And so I have to work at that. But by me continuing to strive and chase after my dreams, I am showing them that it's okay to chase after theirs. You have to be part of your why. Okay. I want to connect with you. Can we be friends, please? I love friends. Like too much, and to the point where I'm like, maybe I'll tell people I don't want to be friends because it's just very vulnerable. So best, easiest way, platform I love the most is Instagram. My handle is Elise __. You gotta make sure you spell Elise correctly. There are 2 L's and a Y. Or you won't find me. So come find me on Instagram. I also have a podcast. It's called the Consistent 5K Club. Noemi was one of my guests. Her episode dropped at the beginning of the month. Maybe it was the end of last month. Whatever. It was a few weeks ago. And we talk all about like showing up as you on social media. Like it is such a good episode. Such a good episode. Go listen to it. It's called the Consistent 5K Club. And then if you have been working through this, you've been taking diligent notes, doing all the things through the presentation, you're like, be really helpful if I had some guiding questions. I put together this really awesome notebook for you. So you can either go to the sustainablebusinesscollective.com/simple-5k-workbook, or you can just scan this QR code right now with your phone. And I will send you the workbook that asks you some more guiding questions that'll help you figure out where that next step is for you. Because ultimately that's the goal. We want to be creating consistent income. We want good things to happen in our businesses. And for a long time, I told myself that that didn't get to be my dream, that was somebody else's dream. And that's just not true. It gets to be your dream too. You also get to have success. Are there any questions? I have like 3 minutes. If you have any questions, I would love to help you. If there were things that came up and you're like, but Elise, this doesn't really make sense, I need more help, I'm only a direct message away. I love helping people. It lights my soul on fire.
You girls could either unmute yourself or drop it in the chat. This was really good, Elise. Thank you so much. Can I just say, you should be a yoga instructor because your voice is so soothing. Like, I just feel like you were just talking deep into my soul and just like, oh.
I'll tell you a secret right now. I hate the sound of my voice. Like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
Well, just
and
know.
yet I've had to get over it. I've had to be like, okay, I'm just not going to listen to it because everybody else is like, you just sound like an angel. Like,
yeah,
okay, whatever.
It's just very soothing to hear you and like so calming and like everything's gonna be okay. Like, I don't know. I love it.
It's gonna be great.
Thank you for sharing.
If you're on the journey and it feels hard, like, keep going. Don't give up. Don't give up. That is, if nothing else that you take from this, like, keep going. I dropped the link to that workbook over in the chat too, in case you missed the QR code, or you just want to click the link. You don't want to do a QR code.
Thank you. Any questions, mamas? Please go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes. But I, like you said right now, I've been networking, but I lose them because I say I'm a bookkeeper and then they just turn around and walk away. So that's where I see that. I didn't know that was wrong, and now I see that that's the problem.
There's nothing wrong with like telling people that you are a bookkeeper, especially if they've asked like what it is that you do. But ultimately, when you're starting a conversation, and especially like a cold conversation, we want to lead with trying to find connection with people. And so one of the things that I love to do is like find somebody's like Instagram profile and find some posts, like do a deep dive, not super deep, but like figure out who they are and like find some point of connection that I have with them, whether it's business related or personal related or whatever. Like, I want to find some sort of connection with them. And then when I message them, it's about that connection first. It's not me leading with like, hey, my name's Elise, I'm a business coach. Like you, people will be like, cool, I'm not going to talk to her because the only thing she wants to do is like pitch her services to me. You want to lead with connection. You want to lead with like, here are the things we have in common. This is what makes me a human being, and this is what makes you a human being.
Yeah. Kind of like what we've talked a lot about today with the branding part of it, right? And like the social media show up, Janie, and even what Carla was teaching us a lot on, like, depending our colors, even depending things like that, like that's what brings that connection with people. And Elise points that out really well, because in the end, any business it's a connection, it's a relationship, right? So it's like those that are just very transactional, like that's if you were just going to Walmart to purchase something. Like I'm not going to build a in-depth connection with Walmart, you know, or Target or things like that. But I would absolutely build a more deeper connection, let's say, with someone who's my cell phone provider, right? Because I'm using it all the time and it's something that is relevant and useful and needed to me. So if I have an issue with my phone, I'd rather have a store that I know I can have a connection with and the people that are there, right? So always think about even your own relationships that you have with who you do business with. Like that's the relationships that people are looking to have with you. And that's what builds that consistency, because they are now being trustworthy to you. Like they're being truthful to you, right? Because you take care of them, because you know they can relate with you, because they are being, you know, listened through what they need in their business and those pain points, and you are relieving them in those areas. So I mean that's something that I would just add. But thank you so much, Elise. This was super great. I know you're actually
Thank you all.
back. I think sometime in August. I think we need to chat about that.
Yeah.
And do an also more in-depth workshop with just yourself with the community. So ladies, if you want to hear more from Elise, be on the lookout, because we will have a more less formal workshop in August, but also still, you know, something where you can continue to learn about what brings in this consistency. Because a lot of the times we think, oh, consistency 5K months means that I'm like hustling all the time. It means that I'm like doing all the things.
And it's the exact opposite. Like once you've gotten to the point, and especially if you have a really great client experience and you have people who are continuing to like stay on with you, and that's ultimately the goal, right? Like you want to keep the clients that you have. Like you are in the least hustle culture part of anything at all. Like you don't have to continue to bring in a whole bunch of clients, because you have this consistent income that's building through.
I love it. All right. Well, again,
all right.
Thank you, Elise. And
thank you all.
See you next time. Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah. Bye. Have a great time, guys.
Bye. All right, ladies, it is time for a giveaway. I wanted to do a dance party, but then when I upload to YouTube, freaking YouTube like will cancel out the video, and then I have to go back and edit. And unless we do a little stretch moment and I'll just pause it and we just won't be recorded. Do we want a dance party with a giveaway, or do we want to wait till the end?
Can we do like a yoga pose after that? And I was like,
yeah, okay, so we need to be more in Zen then. Okay, so let's come together. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. No, that's not yoga. Yoga, you got to do like, oh, you know what's good? Okay, I've done a couple yoga stuff. The child's pose, like if you girls want to just like get in a moment of like, you know, a stretchy of your body, let's do that. Yeah. I'm going to be down on the floor because I will absolutely do that child's pose stretch from yoga, because that feels really good. Or the one about the what is it called, the cow and the cat, right? Like that feels good too, to do those stretches. Okay, so let's just take like a quick 1 minute just to do whatever stretch it is that you need to do to kind of just bring us back in, continue to have us in this, right, like Zen thing. And it feels good to stretch out. Speed and Zen. And then I'm gonna go to the floor and do the cow and the cat. Oh, it does feel good. That stretch is good. So funny story. I used to like do like yoga videos at home, and I would have to do it when my husband wasn't around. I know it's TMI, ladies, but we're all ladies here, and I think all of us have a husband. So it's like whenever I did yoga, my husband was like, whoa. I'm like, no, I'm exercising. Leave me alone, okay? He was like, is that it?
But now it's my kids climbing on me and my back and
yeah. Yes, that is absolutely true. My daughter was little when I would do it. So yes, she would absolutely be climbing on my back and everything. And it was pretty funny, but yeah, I could never do yoga around my husband because yeah, you get a little bit too excited. I'm like, it's just exercise. All right, so let's do a fun giveaway. Let's do another shirt. Let's do 2 shirts. We haven't even given away stuff today. What do I mean? What is wrong with you? Tomorrow we'll do another, kind of to wrap up the day, we'll do another year of VIP group coaching giveaway, or the course, the Mama Counts Bookkeeping course, if you don't have that. And let's do 2 more shirts. I believe I have everyone here. If you can see my screen, can you verify that your name is on there? And if it's not on there, please let me know real quick. And then that way we can have everyone's name on here. We're going to do 2 shirts, which once again, it's like the black one that I wore on the very first day. It says La Contadora, the bookkeeper, or La Bookkeeper, and it's black. So let me know. I know that's like the first kind of shirts that I'm giving out that is not like this color, that is not like an on-brand color. So it feels kind of funny, but I say, you know what? We all like black. We all look good in black. So we can absolutely add that color. Okay, so everyone's on here, right? I think so. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle and we're going to spin once. Let it stop on its own. Kenya, congratulations, Mama. Are you on here? Yes, you are, Kenya. Congratulations. Kenya, make sure, send me a direct message here in the Zoom chat. Your shirt size, what version do you want? Do you want the English, the Spanish, or the Spanglish version? And your address, please, because I just found out it's much easier for me to keep it in a Google Sheet with your address. So we'll do that. Okay, so let's do one more. Let's shuffle. One more winner. Brenda! Felicidades, Brenda! It's your second shirt. Okay, so question. Okay, if you have already like 2 shirts, because I think this is the first time, right, that it comes out twice. Kenya, you have one too already? Okay, so I do have like the tumblers. So would you rather want a tumbler or you want another shirt? Girls.
For me, one and one.
So like a shirt and the tumbler? Okay, that way I can send you both. Kenya?
I don't know, what is the difference?
The tumbler, it's like a cup. It's like a pink cup and it says Mama Counts. And then the other one would be the shirt, or unless you want 2 shirts.
2 shirts.
2 shirts? Okay. All righty. So I have your information already, girls, so you don't have to send that to me. All right. So let's wrap up our training today with a little workshopy. Before I forget, I want to share with you all the sales tax economics nexus that Cassandra shared with us yesterday. Remember, I'm dropping it here in the chat, so make sure you save this Google Doc. Can someone just make sure that you can open it? This was, again, what was the economic nexus for sales tax. I was working on making sure that it like looked a little bit nicer. So all the states are on there from yesterday's presentation. So just want to make sure I got that to you, girls. And the one that we are going to be working on right now is like a workbook. Okay. Some of it is in your workbook already, like the main one. Okay, thank you, Anna. But this one also just kind of, I wanted to give you all the whole workbook together. So that way you can always have this also as a reference when you are going back or need to continue to work on this if you don't get through the workshopping part of this today. Okay, so here, let me, what did I do? Hold on. Where am I? Where am I, Noemi? Okay, I want to put this over here. I want to share my screen. Here we go. Everyone, can you guys all say just quick thumbs up? The land your clients first page. Am I sharing my screen with that? Can I just get a quick thumbs up? Okay, thank you, Joe. Okay, so what we've learned today a lot has been the marketing, the ideal clients, the branding, like how all of this, right, has an effect in our business and how it has an effect on the marketing and sales part of our business. So in this workshopy part that we're going to do is really just connecting everything that we've learned today, even what Elise brought in, bringing in that consistency. What does that mean, right? We talked and we heard a lot about reaching out your ideal client, talking to that ideal client, how, it's about them, it's not about you, right? When you're marketing, when you want to offer a service. And when we are putting ourselves in those positions, we are really allowing ourselves to make sure that we have those right kind of clients in our corner. And those are the right kind of clients that we want to be working with. Okay. So when we are landing our ideal clients, okay, we're going to be ready and set up with our bookkeeping business. The most important thing is finding clients, right? A lot of you girls here already have either one client or you've maybe worked on and off with a client. Is there anybody in here who has not one client at all, whether or not a consistent client or just maybe someone that hasn't stayed on board with you? I think I saw one hand go up. Anyone else? Okay. All right. So do not worry. I think I'm going to pronounce your name wrong, Mama. Tanira? Tanira? How do you say it?
It's Tannery.
Tannery. Oh my gosh, I'm like so off. Thank you, Tannery, for that correction. But this is going to still serve you because you're going to know how to look out for those clients and prevent a lot of the things that Elise was telling us, that we get these burnouts, that we get, clients that we just work with them because we need to work with them, right? So how do we make sure we don't fall under that trap, right? We're not making money, right? We're not going to be making money if we don't have a client. But how do you find these ideal clients and how are you going to be able to make them stay in your business, have that consistency with them? Okay. One of the things that I have learned and some things that I really shifted and focused on in my business from when I started my business up until 2019, where I noticed the majority of the growth in my business on the revenue side was when I really started to talk to my ideal clients. Okay. So when I started to really know who my ideal client was, right? Where are they hanging out and what their challenges were. From there, I was able to now really use all the social media marketing, all the content, right? All the branding to really please that client. And I was no longer always having to create content in social media and put things out there, because the little that I did was reaching my ideal client. Okay. And the thing is all of these components that we learned today come down to that ideal client. Okay. And that's what I want us to work on today. Some of the ways that you can show up, right? And that way your client can see is that, oh, I want to work with Amanda. I want to work with Maribel. I want to work with Monet. I want to work with Brenda, is when you do these following things. Okay. On your social media, on your emails, on your phone, when you're talking to people, when you are at the park, when you're getting your hair done, when you're buying groceries, whoever it is, right? Always think about these little steps here that are going to help you build that credibility and that trust. And it's going to really touch all of those points in your business so that people know who you are and people know who you serve, and you create that know, like, and trust factor where from there, they're going to want to work with you. Okay. So you want to be building trust and credibility. Okay. Even if you are working just with your dad, even if you're working just with your husband, even if it's just your neighbor, your friend, right? A small client, someone that you did something small for, ask for a testimonial, mama. Ask for a review. Okay. I promise you, any little work that you have done for somebody and you put them out there on your social media, you give them a shout out, they're going to feel special, right? And it's not only going to make your client feel special, but it's going to give you that credibility of oh, she's working with people, right? And that's how we start to build testimonials and reviews, okay? Any case studies can also help. So again, for example, this would be actually very major if you're like doing tax prep, or when we start to do in tax preparation. Tax prep and like with bookkeeping, right? There's always that very like generic general overview. And in the end, every business is different, and every business will have a specific study, right? There'll be a specific issue with that client. There'll be a specific challenge that when you really do like a study around it, and you start to really, provide the knowledge that you've gained from it, and then you get to share it, right? This is going to be really putting you on that building trust and credibility factor, okay? Mamas, share with the world, share with social media, your friends, family, texting. Where do you get your continuing education and trainings from? I saw Joanne and a lot of the girls who were at the Tax Fest who were posting about it, that you were at the Tax Fest, that this is where you got your continuing education. But guess what? This whole week has also been a place of you getting trainings from, right? Let people know that you are investing in your knowledge, that you are investing in trainings, in classes, right? That you are here from 11 to 3, like really training yourself to better serve your clients. Clients love that. They say, oh, Joanne is taking her business serious because she's grading knowledge, right? Kenya really continues her education, and she fills herself with a community of experts because she's in these classes. She takes these trainings. So mamas, shout yourself out when you're getting these educations and these trainings forms, right? Like, ladies, your social media should be blasting up right now, not just because I want you to talk about Mama Counts Live, but because this is a whole week of education and learning that you are getting. You're learning from corporate attorneys. You've learned from business professionals. Tomorrow we're going to have Nadia as a CPA, right? You're learning from me. You're learning from Elise, like all these amazing entrepreneurs who are doing well in business, and you are consuming this information from them, right? So put that out there into the world and let people know, hey, I'm taking my business serious, and this is how I take my business serious, by making sure that I'm on these trainings and I'm have my continuing education. Okay, the network and connection part, mamas, we've talked about this a lot, right? Whether it's going to be through referrals. Remember I told you 3 different ways that we would be able to put ourselves out there. That referral based, right? It can be the networking events, in-person events, conferences, or things like that that are local, or the social media engagements, right? These 3 things are going to give you that exposure to those ideal clients. But if you are doing just referrals, networking, and social media without actually knowing who do you want to work with, you're going to end up with those like horrible clients that are just going to drain your energy and your life and not see the value that you offer to them. And we don't want that, right? Because guess what? Hay de todo. There's a little bit of everything, and there's always clients who just want to drain our energy, our minds, and pick our brains. Like, believe me, I come across them all the time. But it's really easy to identify them and know that, I don't want to continue working with this person because of X, Y, and Z. Okay. Showing your expertise. We've talked about this tons today, mamas. Okay. Your content marketing. How do you show up on social media, locally, in person, with your friends and family, anything like that, with what you are an expert in? Okay. We've talked about this so much today, of the content, social media part of it, right? The workshops and webinars, I didn't go too much into it because that is a possibility for you to do as well. Absolutely. I know there's a lot of ladies who have actually taken this route. Cassandra Galan yesterday, she actually does this. I think she does like quarterly workshops, but she's speaking to ladies in the beauty industry specifically, gives them a workshop, and then sells them her offers, right? Like, so that is also something that you could do. And don't worry about not having, 20 people on that workshop. Heck, you can get 2-3 people on there, and guess what? You're going to get that trust factor from those clients or those potential leads as well. Who's done this? Ali, I know Ali Alba, she's been in the community for some time too. She's also done this as well, where she really trains on like, hey, is an LLC good for you? And things like that, which brings people into her world. These are all just marketing tactics that allow for what you are trying to do be put in the eyes of those ideal clients that you want to connect with, okay? The educational materials, everyone loves a freebie, everyone likes a checklist or some kind of templates, right? So if you're good on that and you're like, you know, you're good on creating a really awesome Excel sheet or a really fun Canva worksheet or guide or checklist or anything that can be as a resource for a potential lead or a client, know that that is also something that can be used as a marketing tactic to show your expertise, which once again builds that like know, like, and trust factor that you also have credibility in what you are doing, okay? Being able to provide transparent pricing and flexible plans. This is the thing. The pricing I know is always like a big like question mark of what do I charge? If I probably get one message a day on social media or in my DMs of like, what should I charge to this? Now, I want to make it super clear, mamas, when it comes to bookkeeping, you can charge whatever the heck you want, but just do not undervalue yourself, okay? Do not charge less than what your worth actually is, okay? The thing is, I have seen this way too much, and unfortunately, those that charge way very little just to get that client, okay, end up half-assing jobs, unfortunately, excuse my language, or they just really end up getting burnt out and overwhelmed because they find out that there is way more work than what actually was quoted for, and now it's a little bit harder to come back to your client and up your prices on it, okay? So make sure you do have that transparency of pricing when you get on these calls with your clients. I'm not a fan of putting prices on my social media or putting prices on a website or anything that has to do with my services, because in the end, a lot of my clients get very tailored to what it is that they're doing. But I do have a base point of what I will be charging depending on what clients I'm going to be working with, and I'm going to share that with you in a little bit, okay? Being flexible, mamas, with packages, I'm all for that. You know, I am all for being flexible and, like I said, providing our clients what they need, right? Catering it to what it is that they need, and sometimes even asking, what is your budget like? You know, okay, like not too long ago, I actually quoted, it was 2-year cleanups plus 1099s plus tax returns, and it was a good almost $11,000 proposal. But because it was 2 years plus this year of 2024 tax returns, I mean, and it was like 3 different bank accounts that needed to be monitored, so the monthly quoting was about $350-ish approximately, and obviously when you look at the whole thing of 2 years or 2.5 years, because we're going now into July, that was very scary for the client to see. And she's like, oh my gosh, I can't afford you. I said, look, what is your budget? What are you looking to pay for something like this to get done? And the thing is that a lot of people don't even have an idea. And if they now come back to me with something way, just like way low, I'd be like, yes, I'm so sorry, you know, I can't do this for you, right? Why? Because I do not want to either just, I know what's going to be involved when it comes to the work. So I don't want to just like take on the job to take the job and then resent myself later because I'm like, oh man, I should have made $11,000 and not $3,000 from this job where I know it's way more consuming, right? So know how to make and call those differences in the business, okay? Value over cost. This is a big one, mamas, in which I heard Jill saying, you know, that they don't, they'll run away from the price that you give them. Learn how to position what you're doing for them as valuable, okay? Emphasize the value and savings that clients are going to gain by working with you, okay? This is the thing. Business owners think that they know how much they should be paying, but they really don't, okay? They really don't, especially when it comes to the value that you're providing. A lot of times, even in my proposals, like I don't put just bookkeeping. I detail out everything that has to do with bookkeeping, right? Everything that goes into bookkeeping. Because if I just put bookkeeping and categorizing of transactions, a client is gonna be like, oh, I can do that, right? But it's more than that, right? It's that chart of accounts keep up, right? It's that reconciliation. It's the organization of financial documents. It's the, you know, proper categorizing. It's the proper details of the customers, vendors, payees, accounts, right? I detail it out because this is the value that I am bringing to you. And a lot of the times that cherry on top will say, hey, if you have any questions when it comes to financials or like, you know, when it comes to the bookkeeping part of it, like I am part of your team. team. I position myself as part of their team and not just their bookkeeper, right? Not just someone who just does this for them. No, hey, I'm part of your team. This is the kind of team you should be building so that you have a successful business, right? So put yourself in the value that you're giving to them, right? Hey, I'm going to be saving you time. I'm going to be giving you back time to be with your family because you don't have to worry about this part. You don't have to worry about gathering receipts and documents and things like that at the end of the year. You need to focus on those money generating activities so that you can make money to provide for your family. And on your days off and on the weekends, you don't have to worry about all the administrative financial things. Put yourself, that's a pain point to them, right? Present to yourself in that pain point to them. And then also having this follow-up strategy with them, right? This is where AI and those automations that we talked yesterday with Katie and Ashley are going to come into place. And that they do, like the follow-ups and the campaigns and things like that are going to do the work for you automatically. So you're not the one always having those follow-ups, always having to ask, or always having to do email marketing and stuff like that, because you have a system or a workflow or an automation in place that can handle this part for you. Okay, so how do we decide who we want to work with, right? How do we know who we are talking to? You literally need to be able to put down a full demographic of an ideal client of yours, okay? So I want us to work on this. Try to fill out as much as you can. Put a name to your avatar. Avatar will be like your ideal client, okay? Just think about somebody. How old are they? Are they male or female? Are they married or are they single or are they divorced? Do they have kids? Where are they located? What kind of business do they have? What is their occupation like? And what is their level of education? And let me tell you, the level of education actually is important because, and not to diminish or stereotype anybody who does not have certain types of education, but depending on who you are speaking to, ladies, you do not want to be speaking to them like they, have everything figured out. So for example, I have a client who's a truck driver. He's really good at that. Like that's what he does. He's done this his whole life. Very simple, humble, Latino, Mexican. He probably just finished high school, right? But he's good at what he does. He has no clue of anything else that has to do with taxes or bookkeeping. Anything from the IRS or the state freaks him out. And that's where I'm going to come in and be like, hey, I'm going to handle this for you. Do not worry. If something comes in, I'll let them know. Yes, worry about this. No, worry about that. We need to take care of this. We need to take care of that. And I simplify my verbiage. I simplify the process for him. I simplify the way he can communicate with me because I know he did not, I think, I will be honest. He probably just finished high school in Mexico and came here to the US as an immigrant, but he has the opportunity to build a business and is doing phenomenal in his business. But that's what he knows. That's where he's good at, right? So I know that I will be more simplified, maybe more empathetic with him versus a client of mine who recently we're going to start working with them. Like they are huge entrepreneurs, right? Like they're like on it. They get continuing education. They're an insurance agency and they know that like, oh, I know this. I need to be on top of my stuff, right? I need to be on top of my business. So their level of education is going to be a little bit more higher. So the way I even speak to them, the verbiage that I use with them is a more sophisticated level. Why? Because they're going to understand me and then they're going to be able to know that, oh, she does speak my language kind of thing, right? So know who that avatar is, mamas, okay? Literally, who do you want to be working with? And you can make various avatars. This doesn't mean that it has to be just one and that's it. But I really want you to work on this part, okay? Work on this part. Create maybe 3 or 4 different ones of who these people are. Put a name to them, right? That's the fun part of all of this. Once you've done the avatar putting of it, okay, work on one, okay, and start to answer these questions for them, okay? What would be their goals in business? What are their values for their business? What are their challenges in their business? What are the fears in their business? Okay. What are their frustrations? What are some objections he or she might have in working with you? What role does he or she fill in the business, right? What is a fun fact that you have about your avatar? Know them at a personal level too, mamas, right? Once you can fill this out, so this is like 3 pages here, okay? You can, again, do this for each different avatar that you are doing. So that way you can make sure that you have this set up correctly and you have these different thoughts and ideas. You might already have someone in mind, and I wouldn't even, I would actually challenge you to make these questions to that business owner. Maybe it's your mom or your dad or your husband or a friend or anybody. Maybe they are your ideal clients, right? Write their names down and ask them these questions, mamas. Hey, I'm doing some like market research. Can you help me out with some things? Can I ask you a couple questions? Learn from them. Do this market research and really start to hear from people. That's another thing that I'm going to challenge you girls to do so that you can create this avatar, create this ideal client, because the more you learn about them, the more putting all this content together, putting together, you know, your pricings, putting together your packages, like really just in general, running your whole business is going to allow you to know exactly and create that consistency and that consistency in your business to keep them on board with you when you have these things filled out. Like know who they are, right? Know who you're talking to. And when you're able to do all of that, mamas, it's going to be able you're going to be able to so much easier be able to speak to them through content marketing, through paid traffic, through email marketing, through social media marketing, or even copywriting. Okay. You're going to know how to speak to them accordingly to the way you're going to market to them. The reason why we need to know who our clients are or who is our audience, right? We hear that one too. Is because when you market to them, remember, it's about them. We've heard that a lot today. It's about them. It's not about you. You want the transaction to gain their business. But before you gain their business, it needs to be about them. It needs to be about your potential clients. Okay. And in the end, mamas, right? When you have these calls, when you have these discovery or like leads that you're going to get with them, make sure that you have an offer. Okay. Have something to offer them. Where are you going to serve them? These are just three. Actually, these three is actually what I have implemented a lot in the last year and a half in my business. Of hey, I'm just putting my minimum, and this is just bookkeeping, mamas. Okay, anything down here is additional. Anything down here is additional. You should not be including $250 a month and include sales tax and payroll and everything else. No, 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 no. This is just for bookkeeping purposes. So give yourself that like grounding point of like, this is where I feel comfortable. And let me tell you though, ladies, honestly, like where we're at right now with inflation and the way everything is, do not charge less than $250 a month. If you are charging less than $250 a month, to me, I've heard this from people. It's you do not know enough, you're not confident enough, and you are doing way too much work, even if it's the simplest book job. Okay. So $250 a month, mamas, please like let that just be kind of like a new standard that we put out there, that would be our minimum to work with a client. Okay. It's going to be the minimum worth your time to work with a client, honestly. Okay. And you can get a lot of little ones like this, right? You can get just what you're doing, one small checking account, something small, right? P&Ls, a monthly thing that you're doing, boom, in and out, 30 minutes, tops, you're done with your books once a month. Okay. And the thing is, again, this is just something that you want to keep as your base rate, you know, and just go up from there. Again, price it even more depending on what other services you're offering. Heck, if you are doing their accounts receivable and accounts payable, guess what? You better be in here way more and be charging more than these base amounts that I have down here, right? I know, Jill, you've done a lot of that where you get really involved, right, into their business. So you absolutely should be charging your worth. One of the biggest things that I kind of put my clients in perspective too is I tell them, hey, this is what you're paying me a month. If you hired an on-staff bookkeeper or you hired someone to do this for you, you would be paying them way more per week because now they're an employee. Okay. So it's way more expensive for them to actually hire an on-staff person than for them to hire you, and just give them that perspective as well. Okay. And just always keep in mind that anything extra here, these are extra services, mamas. Okay. Extra services. So what do you need to do? There's a lot that you have gained today. There's a lot of information that you consume today, but I want you to start with your avatar demographics. Okay. Because once you know who you are speaking to, Once you know about their pain points, what's important to them, what are their fears, what are their frustrations, all the rest of the content information that we've learned today with Elise, with Carla, and what we've learned in the morning about social media, you are going to be able to put that content together. Okay. So we start off with this, and then we build into everything else that we've learned today. Okay. Whew, that was a lot of information. I want to open it up a little bit for any questions. Work on this workbook. That's why I kind of did it more of a workbook, not an actual slide deck, because I know this is something that I want you girls to print out, write out, or fill in, however it is that makes it easier for you. And just be able to make sure that you are, you know, following up with this, because believe me, this is part of the work that you have to do. So that way, you know how to get these clients, you know how you're going to be closing these clients, because the skill set part of it, you girls know it. What we need to make sure we're working on is that marketing part of it, that part of bringing on clients, because the skill set, we're going to know how that's going to happen. Okay. Kanya says, Kenny, I'm so sorry. A charge depends on the number of accounts or depends on the business income. What is better? Kenya, that's on you, girl. There's no one right or wrong answer. Honestly, everyone charges differently. That's what I'm saying. It's like, you know, it's not fair for us to say this is what you should charge, because there's no base industry when it comes to bookkeeping. There's people who do charge per accounts. I'm the kind of person that I'd rather charge per accounts than per transactions. Per transactions to me just finds very overwhelming, and it's not a consistent of a payment that my clients would do on a monthly basis. And I'd rather charge per account. That's how I do it. And then just kind of consider the per account plus the time that I'm going to have invested in there. And that's how I've decided what is that time worth it to me to be able to do those books. So I would just say, Kenya, honestly, do it based off of, you know, what feels right to you. I know people who do charge off of a percentage of their income too, their revenue. Again, Kenya, that's a question that, like, I can't say this is what you have to charge. You know, I have a client that makes $100,000 a year and they pay me $500 a month because they have a lot of transactions. I have a client that makes $500,000 a year and they're just at the 250 because their transactions are very minimal. You know, so again, consider your time and consider the work that you have to do, and put a number to it. How much do you want to be making? How much do you want to be earning? You know, and decide on those numbers. And the thing is, like, what I charge here in Illinois is very different than what's being charged in California, what's being charged in Texas, what's being charged anywhere else. But I don't switch my prices because I am virtual and I work with clients from all over the place. I'm not going to like price them according to their state. I'm still going to price them according to what I charge. Yeah. How would you calculate the time change part? Again, Tanya, that I'm gosh, saying your name wrong again. I'm so sorry. The time part, I do always have a like, okay, this is, if I had to do something hourly, what do I want? What is my worth per hour? And my worth per hour is $60 per hour. So if I ever have to do something per hour, it's going to be $60 per hour. But like, for example, if I do a small bookkeeping job, okay, and that job is going to take me 30 minutes, and I know it doesn't take me a full hour, okay, $60, like I am really making no money there. So I present value, which, heck, even though I'm only doing 30 minutes of work, I'm not an employee. So that's a switch we have to make, which is why I'm not a big fan of saying doing an hourly. But you want to switch from the value that you are providing to your client versus the time that you're investing in it. Okay. So like, for example, like a lawyer, right? They say, hey, my hourly rate is $300. I've had people who quote them at 500, 600, right? Like per hour. Every lawyer has a different price. And in the end, it'd be like, what is the value that you're going to bring to your client, and what pain point are you relieving, and how much is that worth to them? Right. And then that's how you can help establish that amount. So just know that it's not a one direct answer. It's more of like, okay, what are you providing to them? What is the value? And base your price off of that. And I think the scary part, honestly, mamas, it's like the first time giving that price. So it's the first time saying it. Because I remember Maribel, we were talking about this not too long ago in the VIP group, where like it sometimes makes you like scary to say, oh my gosh, I'm going to charge $150 just to file a sales tax report. That's going to take you like 10 minutes. But you know what? How long did it take you to really understand how to file that report? In 10 minutes, right? How much time are you girls investing here that you've spent time and money to be here to learn a lot of these strategies to help you work faster? Okay. Don't devalue it for your time. Okay. It's the value that you're providing, right? So just know that it's like, you know, what are you doing to relieve this pain point and how much is that worth to them? Jill, I actually did that too when I first started. That's part of doing like a market research. Don't be afraid to do that, mamas. Absolutely. And I encourage, do market research in your area. Some people will tell you what their starting rates are. Some people won't, but you can absolutely call people locally of what do they charge. Go online. There's so many different agencies or bookkeepers that actually do put their prices online. So that can give you a ballpark of an idea, you know, and just kind of start with that when it comes to pricing. I wouldn't say that, well, here, this is the thing. When you're starting out, you can start to increase your prices once you've gained a lot of that credibility and that build and trust factor because of what you've been doing, right? Even if you've just worked with one person, guess what? That is already somebody of a skill set that you've worked with. So just because you've only had one client, okay, doesn't mean that you're not an expert. You absolutely are, because you've already known what to do for that client, right? You've already solved the issues that happen to come with that client. So just make sure that the more you start to put yourself out there, and like with every client, I'm not gonna lie, I probably go up $10. I probably go up $20, right? Just because it gets the more I bring in with clients, the more of a different level I am in my business, right? And I know that, guess what? Every year, my softwares send me an email that their prices are going up. So I absolutely should also be going up on my prices for my services. Oh my gosh, hold on. So many messages came in. So charge the diagnostic just to see how much time and how many accounts, then charge monthly if the contract is correct. Yes, Monet, absolutely. That is why we're such a big fan of like those diagnostics right now. That is literally what I do. Part of my onboarding process is always like, hey, let's get on a call. Let me listen to what do you have going on in your business. And if you're a brand spanking new business, I'll start you at those 250, honestly. And I already know that's what I'm quoting you, right? Especially if they fall under those categories that I just shared with you. But if they already have a business that's been established, and they have a lot of things going on, I will send them straight to a diagnostic first and then be able to price the proposal. Absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh, hold on, you guys are going so fast. Anna, thanks for everything to me. Gotta go. See y'all tomorrow. See you ladies tomorrow. I know, go rest up. Rest up, ladies. I know, I'm wrapping this up right now. Jill says that it's so much easier to do all of these things when you niche down because you can learn all about those people. Yes, absolutely, right? It is, and I know at the beginning we do cast a very wide net because we probably don't know who we want to work with. And that's okay to do that too. But as you start to cast that net and as you start to see, oh, I do want to work with service providers. I do want to work with e-commerce people. I want to get more niche down. Like I don't have a particular niche of a particular type of construction industry or truck driver. I consider myself being a service-based industry. So anyone who provides a service, that's who I work with. So I have construction companies, I have truck drivers, I have cleaning companies, I have online entrepreneurs, you know, coachings and stuff like that. And that's kind of like my industry that I've kind of fallen under. So yes, absolutely. The more you get to know them, if you already have an industry that you can niche down in, ladies, you already speak their language, you already know what they need, and you already know their pain points. So keep talking to them, keep speaking to them. Okay. Patricia says, for cleanup, I though was charging a lot and the client said yes as soon as I have him the price. You know what? If you get a yes, girl, keep it going. That is like a confidence booster right there, Patricia, that is going to allow you to be like, oh, they're willing to pay this for me. Awesome. Like, absolutely awesome, right? The next time you price this, it's not going to feel as scary. I promise you. Okay. And the thing is, a cleanup, I'd rather overprice than underprice it. I have learned that the hard way. I would rather overprice a cleanup than underprice, because I have underpriced for sure. And when I first started in my business, and again, it just builds resentment to my business and it gets frustrating, and we don't want that. Maribel says, on the additional services, do you add an additional SLW on the contract, or just detail it out on the whole contract with pricing without SL? What's SLW, Maribel? Girl, you're making me do some acronyms over here. Scope of work. Oh, okay. So yes, usually what I do on the so it's like I do the here, actually let me show you real quick. I have a couple more minutes. I can show you how it shows on my, I do it in TaxDome. I provide what is the actual proposal first of what I'm going to be doing. And then right underneath the proposal, I put what are the additional services, because I do price that separately, and sometimes it's not part of their monthly work. So let me look at the templates. I believe this is where I can find them. Here, let me share my screen. This is where this is in TaxDome. This is where I have my stuff. So like, for example, I have templates based off the services and what I'm going to be sending to my client. So like bookkeeping, payroll, and taxes. So like, for example, this one is offering all of the services. Okay, so this is how the proposal looks like. Okay, so I'll put out what my startup fee is, what the bookkeeping services are. This, I change this all the time, ladies. So this is just my template. Okay, don't think I'm pricing people at 180, because I do not. The payroll services, and what is the sales tax, right? So then I would add all those three to what their total monthly would be, right? So then like down here for payroll, right? I say, hey, on a quarterly month, you're going to be added 120. So this is going to defer. And then any additional breakdown of services, I put them down here as well, so that they also have that expectation of what the services I'm offering. So this is like the proposal that gets sent out to them, to my clients, once I put it together. So this is how it looks like. And again, it'll go also just based off of what am I doing? So bookkeeping and payroll, if I want to do just bookkeeping services, if I'm doing just like the diagnostic, like this is the diagnostic here. I'll show you how that one looks. And like my TaxDome ladies, actually in the tax course is what I'm really going to work with you on a lot. So if you have TaxDome, or use TaxDome of my examples to mimic that into Dubsado or anything else, because you'll be able to transfer that to whatever other decision that you use. But it all in the end has those same functionalities when it comes to putting all this together, so that way you don't have to keep working harder on this stuff. So for the diagnostic review, like this is again how like it starts. A lot of them I charge at $350 unless they tell me they have like multiple accounts or stuff like that. So again, you can charge, that's my minimum for a diagnostic, $350. And that's kind of, go up from there. And then just the services that are included. What am I doing? Remember that Canva thing that I showed you girls, like we have that here, so that way if they want more in details, like I don't want to overwhelm the proposal, but if they have more questions, like this is what they get. And then again, it just kind of, if there's any, the diagnostic one is pretty straightforward. And then like the summary of agreements, the next steps, and then from here, this is the contract agreement, like what Noelle was talking to us about, of the terminology. And do know, ladies, that the terminology used here, this agreement contract did get reviewed and did get verified from a lawyer who takes care of all my stuff of the legal documents. So you are in good hands in knowing that this has the right terminology that you need to have, right? You can always just add and adjust anything on the like standard of performances and services and stuff like that. But the terminology here, is the right way. And I know it is because I paid lots of money for a lawyer to review this document for me. So you girls have access to it if you girls are in the course. So yeah, that's kind of how it looks like. And those are just some of the things that I would be kind of really going into depth in the Tax Academy. And once again, just want to share it with you girls. You know, if you're interested or if this is something that you want to do, we have the Mom Account Tax Academy. The sign up will be by this Monday, July 29th, just because I need the month of August to get everything prepared for all of you girls, which would be a 6-month group coaching program on the skill set, the business management, and the business tax setup portion of it, and the whole virtual based part of it, right? You're going to learn how to establish your firm, the skill set. We're going to have bi-weekly classes. We're like live bi-weekly classes on Mondays and Thursdays. You are going to also get a monthly one-on-one call with me. And you're going to also get the Latino Tax Pro course, the replay portal, exclusive fun swag that I am going to send out to all of you girls. We have a private Facebook group, kind of like the VIP group, but it's going to be only for the Tax Academy in itself. And it is a $3,500 investment. You can put $500 down today. Amanda, congratulations on you for getting it going. And I think Janie is here too. She's jumping on board. We have a couple more mamas too who have also reached out. If there's any questions, mamas, please reach out to me. Like I said, even in anything, this is the course that's going to come with it. I mainly want to make sure that you are getting what you need, right? And I put these offers together just because, okay, it's a time commitment on both ends. And I know that when we both can have, you know, some skin in the game in both ways, we will be committed to this. And it's in a perfect timing because it's right before tax season starts. That my goal is that by January, you have your whole business established and you've already been talking about taxes. And that way within January, February, we can work on some tax returns together if you're stuck on it, on that coaching part of it. But we're gonna really be working to getting all of this going. Okay, so if you have any questions about the Tax Academy, if you you know, say, hey Noemi, like, can you work with me on a different level in a different way when it comes to the payment plans of it, mamas, I am so down for it. You know, send me a message. Let's talk about what it is that your pain points are and how I can help relieve those pain points on your end as well, mamas. Okay, but if this is something that you're like, Noemi, I know this is what I want, this is what I want to be doing, right? Like, here's the link. Literally everything that you see in my Tax Dome, you'll see all of that in the Tax Academy because I'm really going into depth and I feel way more confident with now teaching you girls the Tax Dome portion set up on my end and what has been the easiest way to set it up. And again, this has been something that comes and can be implemented in so many various Dubzado or like Honeybook or stuff like that. It's like, what are the client experience processing, the client onboarding, the questionnaire, and all that good stuff. You're going to have it. My goal is to be able to make it as simplified that you can like copy and paste it into TaxDome or into Dubzado, whatever it is that you're going to be using. So I'm saving you time to get all of this set up before tax season. Okay. So let me know if you have any questions, mamas. This was a lot. Oh my goodness. Oh, last but not least, yesterday I told you girls I would get you the code for the Rise Media. We briefly talked about the Rise Media. So like, let's say you're just like completely like, I do not want to be doing any of my marketing design work or anything like this. This is the Rise Media ladies. I've been working with the girls. Her name is Rachel, the owner from here. She's really awesome. She has done for you templates. I think a couple of you girls use them here. You girls ask Cassandra who does them. This is where she gets them from. And it's for bookkeeping content, for tax content, or if you want both. So you can choose one or the other or choose both. It's done for you content. I want to show you how it looks like. This is like where the membership is. So you would have your July content, the July bookkeeping content. I have both, the bookkeeping and the tax, or you can have the July tax content. What is your lead magnet, right? This is what we were talking about, those freebies of how you can grab people, right? She designs all of this pre-made for you in Canva. All you have to do is kind of come in and just like customize it to your colors and change the pictures, right? To, again, make it be you. We don't want to copy all of this, but these are a lot of these lead magnets that you can implement and use without you having to create it, right? And then it's just changing your brand color and stuff like that. There is a code that we have with her. It's called Mama Counts 20, if I'm not mistaken. Mama Counts 20. Yeah, that's the code, and you get 20% off your first month. What I have seen that a lot of the girls do, and just don't tell Rachel that you girls do this, but 1 month of content can probably space you out maybe like 2-3 months approximately, right? So like you can grab the first month, really use it for the next few months, and then get it again, because there's no like you have to stay on for amount of time or anything. You can reactivate it at any time. So if this is just something that, oh, I just don't have the brain space for it, like, ladies, use Ray's Media. She's awesome. She's been in the community for some time, and she's actually came in and done trainings as well. A lot of stuff. Good stuff, mamas. Thank you so much for hanging out for day 3. Tomorrow, it feels like we just started, and it's like, wait, what? Tomorrow's Friday already? And tomorrow, we're going to have an opportunity towards the end of doing something that is called hot seat coaching. Okay. So the way this is going to work is I want you girls to think about what is your biggest pain point that you have right now, whether it be in the marketing, the skill set, your business, right? Whatever it is that you are struggling with and you want me to help you and coach you through it. Okay. So I will, pertaining the time, God willing, I do have blocked out about an hour to work on this, to do those hot seat coaching with you girls, and just come prepared though with what it is that you want to navigate through with me, so we can kind of get over whatever it is that you're stuck on, wherever it is that you can't take the next level on, or whatever it is, right? Like, we're going to do, what is that, hot seat coaching. We're going to put you on the spotlight, and we're going to all learn together, and me being able to coach you through this. Okay. All right, mamas. Lots of really good stuff. If you have any questions, you can send me a DM. I'm actually pretty active right now on social media just for my DMs, because I know a lot of the girls have been sending me one, or send me an email to hello@mamacounts.com, and I will see you all tomorrow, 11 a.m. Have a good afternoon, ladies. Bye.